in Alice Springs. Tackle on Bowie early and had prior, according to the umpire, so free kick to Windhager.
And Windhager looks like he's got the job on Pickett. I'm not sure Pickett's been tagged before.
Sets it up, gives it some air. Early leap Sharman. We'll see a few of those from him this afternoon. He's been flying. Pickett gets an early touch. Petrarca. McVee. Petrarca. Just hit pause for a second, see what options he had. Long was the only one that he liked in the end. Webster goes back to go forward. And they'll do this a bit, the Saints. Use the width, as Jordan Lewis told you. Windhager, Sinclair.
I think you've also just got to be patient. So you've got to draw out this Melbourne defence. They don't tend to collapse in on the mark. They tend to hold and shift across the ground. As you can see here, but you've just got to be patient.
Wood to Burns, and another inside 50 for the Saints. Tom Keeler, the man. Owens couldn't trap it. Pushed out by Hall. Got it to Owens. Feeds it back inside, hoping for Higgins, but they knew what he was up to. Lindsay's having a good season. First season at the club and playing some great footy. One of those contenders for the Rising Star. He's probably got Harvey Langford to beat, his own teammate.
Great run by Chandler.
So Chandler picks it up. Wanganeen Miller doesn't come at him. He just corrals him. Forces the kick wide, and Wilkie kills it to the boundary.
And I think that's where the space will be early. Is certainly wide. The game plan and the ball movement from both sides is that's where they want to attack anyway. But you're always mindful early in the games to close down the corridor. So if you want to go fast, you can. It might have to be wide.
It's a really good battle as well. Gawn, number one ruck in the comp, but down to Filippo to steal. Pumps it down the wing. Keeler, sneaky chance out at Isaac Keeler and couldn't complete it, but he's young. Gets it here and he's off. Tight ropes to boundary, sends it long. Higgins the man, couldn't get there. May read to perfection.
Got to be careful. You've only got a small forward as your deepest forward. Long bombs aren't going to work, particularly when you've got May dropping back.
Here is one of the Rising Star contenders, Harvey Langford wide.
Got some good young players at the Melbourne Footy Club.
He's putting together a great season, Langford, and got a few that are contending for that Rising Star award. Levi Ashcroft among them. Good effort from Petrarca. Hart and Solomon to that. Sinclair likewise. Oliver picked their pocket and floats it to Fritsch, who's back in some form.
Well, it was just a great contested ball won by Petrarca. It was 1 against 2 or 3. He put the cape on and flexed the muscles, spread the group, gave it to Oliver. Here's a good look at it here. Burst through a couple, just released inside to out, and a nice little chip kick.
Came on as the sub a couple of weeks ago, found some form, found some Sharon, then kicked 2-1 last week against Sydney. Bailey Fritsch, the first deliberate shot. That'll work back to perfection. Work of art from Bailey Fritsch.
Well, Dicko, you would have been pretty thrilled with that sort of shot had it left your boot.
Absolutely. Beautiful little right to left to there, G, just to kick it off for the Demons. But as we look at it right now, just early in this game, a lot of switching, a lot of going around the world, not a lot of corridor access because neither team really want to get there in terms of the defence. So going to see a bit of that. Got to find your way forward, be very patient.
Yeah, Cal Wilkie just got lost. You could see him up there in and around the contest. So it's okay if you're going to go up and impact, but you still need to turn your head. You need to have communication from behind. Bailey Fritsch just waltzed into the forward 50 unopposed. It was a little composed kick by Clayton Oliver that found him.
Yeah, and Oliver didn't have any pressure on him either. I think Ross would be pretty disappointed with what he just saw there. 3 or 4 players that could have impacted on the outside of that contest, and they just let it fly.
The other one is Windhager to Pickett, as you can see there.
Here is Pickett on cue for you.
Trying to be physical as well, Dwayne.
The Petrarca to Bowie was in All-Australian form. Early leap, and maybe an unrealistic leap. No, a block.
Yeah, just got underneath him. Oh, we hope Jake Milksham's okay from that contest, just holding his shoulder.
And we'll keep an eye on that. Almost lost possession. Contact below the knee, so it is a turnover. Chandler just pulled that kick late into the pocket. He knew he had the option of Milksham. He got up quick and then kicked. That would have been a miracle.
It was a free hit, wasn't it, really?
Run on contact, had to be there.
The free kick was there. I think Milky knew that it was going to him, so he had a free hit. Geez, it would have been some sort of goal. But just getting in behind him, I know Jake Melksham was injured, so he stayed inside the forward 50, but once again, you've got to turn your head as a defender. Already, the Melbourne forwards are just slipping in behind.
Kicked 3-2 last week against Sydney. He's been preferred to Jacob Van Rooyen, and he's delivering. It's pretty good off the boot, but drifted across the face.
No, it is what he does with the ball, Milky, but certainly just the way that, the leadership down there, the way that he sets everyone else around him, it's really hard to measure, but certainly the coaching staff and the football club are thankful that he's back and playing well.
Webster. Melksham hunted him down. He's hanging that arm a little, Melksham, so we'll keep an eye on that. Fritz Bowie cut down big time by Hunter Clark doing some hunting. Wagner Miller.
Melbourne numbers around the ball. Good signs.
Gone. McVee. Turner's turned into a defender and been playing some brilliant footy as well. The turn and go from Sparrow. Wilkie gets back.
Having a terrific season, as you said earlier in the piece, Dwayne Wilkie, and had a good start.
Little wide, uses that width. Sharman comes a long way down. Lend a hand. It's wide, and Keeler comes up and grabbed it on the line. Hit 44, 2022. It's his third season. Isaac Keeler was part of the Crows Next Gen Academy, but they passed on him.
It's a good size, isn't he, Dwayne?
Yeah, absolutely. From South Augusta, his father, Kieran, was a star in local footy as well. Won a association best and fairest. Isaac Keeler's dad. Comes from good footy stock. Melbourne with an extra behind the ball. A nice mark again from Langford, who can play at both ends.
Yeah, he just looks comfortable at the level. Uses the ball really well. Both he and Lindsay. That left foot coming off half back.
He's got a lot of Melbourne fans very excited. They see elements of Bontempelli in Langford, so they're going big, but he's a darn good kid.
I love it when you hang a name on it.
Yeah.
Put Bontempelli on.
Heap the pressure on him.
Yeah, that's right. As a Melbourne player, Clint Bizzle was likened to Gary Ablett Senior at one stage. Hand off to Lindsay, who is a possession machine and normally uses it well. Johnson, another one of those that has been preferred to Van Rooyen.
Yeah, Lindsay's having another good season as well. He's a really good ball user. Can play a run with roll, probably as part of his development. But gee, on that outside wing, he's going well. Round the corner.
Mature age pick up the 25-year-old and hooked that a bit too far.
Already a theme, Jared. So out the back again, that kick from Stephen May. Some Kilda defenders just getting too high up the ground. And the Melbourne forward slipping out the back, creating all sorts of headaches forward of the ball.
Not sure Marshall wanted to take the kick. He'd rather be the guy down the line getting on the end of it to Sinclair.
Not sure Aidan Johnson will go around the corner next time either, Dwayne.
Wilkie to Sinclair. Well, if you haven't grown up doing it, some players at least have been doing it for 5 or 6 years. Aidan Johnson taken out of Werribee, premiership player at Werribee, mature age player. Mainly been a drop punt guy most of his life, but art for art's sake for some. Just going with the round the corner kick. All the cool kids are doing it. Hill chips it, nice ball movement.
He's presented well so far.
Keeler.
It's Keeler.
It's wide and Turner kills it.
It's that kick inside the forward 50. It's the most important kick.
And I think if you're prepared to go a little bit slower between the arcs, you do give Melbourne the chance to reset, squeeze across, become really stable in defence. So maybe if you can, between the arcs, involve a handball receive to break that first line of defence and get over the back.
Marshall and Gawn. Bowie stripped of it. Hunter Clark hunted him down again. Got enough of a hand on him. Hall feeds it further on. Sharman, a little fumble, and sometimes that's all it takes.
Yeah, geez, it was an important tackle from Hunter Clark. A couple of Melbourne players spitted forward because he Pickett being one.
See Melksham off the ground. he did grab at that right shoulder when he took that mark, or attempted to take that mark. Might be a little issue there. We'll get Dicko to get onto that as soon as he can.
Saw Jack Carroll there. He's into this Saints team for his first game for St Kilda. 21 games for the Blues. We've seen him before, but a new incarnation of Jack Carroll, delisted free agent after the Blues didn't want him. Burns up against the boundary. Travalia, he's over it, and he might be in the spot above it. No, the umpire cuts him some slack.
Chandler was the one that came up with it.
There is Jack Carroll, the man we were speaking of. Still only 22 years of age. So Butler and Carroll, the two ins for St Kilda in this one. Gawn lifts it out of the air. Tackle late on Webster, and he hit the deck hard and too high.
And to Bailey Fritsch was the kick.
Okay.
Hasn't been a high pressure game so far. Both sides really trying to control it through kick mark and limit the congestion in the stoppage game.
So Gawn free, which is strange to leave a big man like that on his own in the kind of form that he's in, but Marshall's back.
Yep.
And the Flyers go up. And turn outside then inside. Windsor spears it to the hot hand. He's in sensational form. Keziah Pickett, why wouldn't you give it to him?
It was an interesting kick at the start.
Waste no time. Oh, gee, he took that too casually.
Too sure what he was thinking there, Cozzy. Take your full 30 seconds, give everyone a chance to have a breather.
Give you a chance to finish what you were saying.
Not under the hill, though, getting down on the line.
Yeah, that's true. Because you take your chance. That was a 1 in 100 chance, but he took the chance and boxed it.
That's where they can go. Hall is spreading forward.
And the rebound. Open forward line, and exactly. Max Hall. Maximum impact.
So that's what happens when a player doesn't take his full 30 seconds. You've got players coming off, so that's their chance to actually rotate. So you're probably 2 or 3 players down on the field. So Bradley Hill, as you said, smart play to get onto the line. You just see here, and then recognise the chance to go, and that's when the overlap started. You can see a few Melbourne players at the bottom of the screen. You're not ready for that. You're not set up for that type of play when Cozzy doesn't take his full 30 seconds. And St Kilda took full advantage. Really good spread from Max Hall forward of the ball. We speak about two goal turnarounds in the space of 30 seconds.
Well, Melbourne almost presumed it was going to be a goal and get set for the 6-6 and 6.
The players were rotating, and then he rushed himself. Cozzy Pickett.
Max Hall, mature age mid-season pick from last year. Hawthorn and Box Hill. Jones, his brother's coaching against him today, so he might make it hard, Zach Jones. Wayne Miller on the bounce. He wants it back. You know he wants it back. Back into the team, Butler. He faked. Wood on his left. Back to the hot spot. Crunch. Keeley at the deck. Hunter Clark caught in that congestion. Having a good start, Isaac Keeler.
You know what, Dwayne? He bounced back up. He got smashed when that kick came in from Wood in the back, and then bounced back up. So Butler probably missed a chance. Wood probably could have had a shot as well, but then did the unselfish thing to bring the ball back into the corridor and give themselves another chance. And Keeler caught one in the back, but a run from Wanganeen Miller.
It's amazing how potent a chance to kick a goal can be for that injury. Have a look at him. He goes down. Look, he's still in it with a snip. There he goes. He's okay. I'm a chance now. And if he doesn't get off the ground, that's why coaches hate people being on the deck. He's out of that play. So well done to him. A great start, and all done by Wanganeen Miller, who was charged off the half-back line. Probably could have almost had a shot himself. Was thinking team. That's a good start by the Saints.
Owens in the middle. The funnel it forward. Clark likewise tried to. Windhager against the grain, but spins it around and gets it deep inside 50. Danger. Mayday had to go and get it with 4 against him, and he did brilliantly. Span out of a jam. Got it to Windsor. Heads wide, a little bit of front-on contact. Fridge ball.
Great work from May. Good start by him.
That was a tough win against him, and that was a horrible kick.
Well, it's a handball received towards the boundary line. You're better off just for the kicker who hasn't got any pressure, who's got a composed possession just to use the ball rather than a handball received to Windsor running boundary side with not much room to move.
Good news for Melbourne with Melksham back on the ground.
Good dive from Sharman.
This is where if they could just put a little bit of speed on the ball, they can catch Melbourne out.
Sits it up as if he was the one that was going to launch for it. And Keeler is killing him at the moment. Unstoppable. I'll be up off the lounge in South Augusta at the moment. Game 6 for Isaac Keeler. To mention, it's his 3rd season on the list, pick 44, but he's always had AFL written all over him. And the Crows are pretty well stacked, which is one of the reasons they didn't keep him as a next-gen player. This for his 2nd.
Phillip, who came off with a lower leg injury before about 5 minutes ago, so he's now been subbed out of the game, and Jack Carroll gets his start, so he comes into the game.
He's had an injury in the interrupted year. Matthias Philippo. That's a horrible start.
That's a stress fracture in the shin from memory.
Tamanidi outside of the boot, sends it long, and there was an engagement on Butler, so it'll be a free kick to Butler. Back into the team, Dan Butler.
Blake Lever was the culprit.
Well, when you get a rebound, the ball comes in quickly. Defenders tend to panic. He grabbed, and the umpires are all over it.
First game of the year for the Richmond Premiership star. He's been at the Saints for a while. In fact, he was 2nd in the Saints BNF back in 2020. Made the All-Australian squad of 40 that year. Last year had some ankle and hamstring injuries that kept him down. But he's back in and back amongst the goals.
I think both sides right now with certain inside 50s are utilising that back space really well. We saw Keeler on May before take a really good mark. And these front half turnovers are like gold. When you can get it back in straight away and make the defence, as you said, Jared, panic in that instance. It was Jake Lever. You just don't have time to get yourself set, communicate with your other defenders and the opportunistic forwards. Just get themselves in really good positions, get body contact on. You can see the arms there.
Interesting kick, no left foot, went the boomerang, got the job done. But they've had a really good 5 or 6 minutes here. The Saints dominating the inside 50s, 7 of the last 8.
Here's Matthias Philippo in the back row.
I just wonder whether he was carrying that in.
So high contact out of the middle. Oliver's ball.
It's an early calf injury.
It's been a pretty low pressure game, but last 10 minutes the Saints have just lifted it to 190.
Gawn's pushed forward. He's up front spot. Almost blocked that.
And anything over 180, which is competition average, is starting to create these mistakes. Here's the free. Both players doing the right thing, but obviously Zach Jones got a better left hook, a better left jab.
Taken to the deck was Webster.
Like much in it?
No, it wasn't a lot in it, wasn't it? So Zach Jones has got Nathan, his older brother, coaching against him in the Melbourne box today.
He's rejuvenated his career, Zach Jones, this season. He was just about on the outer, and he's now back on the inner.
Yeah.
90 games with Sydney. Was originally a pick 15, Zach Jones. So he's a first-round pick, and there's the sorry side of Matthias Philippo. Bowie, half-court. Webster goes and gets it. Wobbles it away to 2-on-1. McVee, one of the 2 that Melbourne had lurking. Nice twist and turn to keep possession. Sharp. Glass it long, 2-on-2. Johnson stayed down. In the end, just tried to nudge the pack forward.
So what you'd like to see Stephen May just tighten that distance up on Keeler. He's still getting a really good look at it. This is the challenge. When you just need movement through the stoppage, you can see there, Oliver Jones,
Yeah, again,
free kick.
Oliver got Jones this time, so it's 1-all.
Just don't need to do it. So they go from being in a really dangerous position to giving the ball up.
Nathan didn't tell him to give him one. He owed him one from childhood days, didn't he?
Down the spine, early flight. Great grab, Keeler. Turning it on.
What a start to the game.
Sinclair. Touched off hands. Higgins. Kickable by his standards. Goes to the goal square. Sharman hands on it. Harder Clark.
Oh, can't miss from there.
Once again, they're getting chances, aren't they, St Kilda? When the ball has got a little bit of speed, the Melbourne defenders are allowing and letting the direct opponent run and jump for the ball.
Well, there's just no pressure there from Hunter Clark, except the perceived pressure.
At the feet of McVie to go and get it and give it back to Bowie. Maybe that was his plan. Gorn in the middle of it. Couldn't get up. Wilkie. Jones. That's the dangerous kick with Pickett lurking, but it comes off. Windhager, Jones, Marshall, Windhager, Travalia. So he gets us an air, hangs it up there. Little push out, not paid. Bowie. Windsor on his wrong side. It did okay. He knew Fritz was there as the outlet.
Keeler's had a good start to the game. 6 disposals, 4 marks. 2 of those have been contested and 1 goal won. So that is a fantastic start to the game for the young fella.
As I mentioned, I'm expecting about 8,000. 11 is the most they've ever had in here, but about 8,000 today. Beautiful sunshine. They've come from far and wide. Webster.
He's just got to tidy up his possession, his disposal, Webster. He wins the ball well, but he continuously gives it back.
Rivers got the kick away into some space. Langford cut down his hand, and now the rebound. Sinclair, normally a wise user. Butler outside of the boot, floats it. Higgins was waiting down, hits the carpet. Langdon, good pressure, Saints. Yeah, absolutely, and it's she almost a chopping of the leg. Got away with it. Sloan got away. Carroll hands it over. Keeler, the man.
Well, they worked hard for that one. There was a couple of half blues who may well have been a free kick missed. But in the end, the hands came from Jack Carroll to Keeler, who's the man of the moment right now. No wonder he's going off for a spell. He's dominant.
You wanted to stay on, Jared.
Yeah, right, there's that free kick.
Yep.
Contact below the knees, but umpire not paying him this week, obviously.
He's just finding himself in the right spot at the right time at the moment.
So Carroll was tackled, but he wasn't actually in the tackle when he dropped the ball. So all good.
It's a bounce.
Yep. Shrugged the tackle.
It's a great start from St Kilda. Certainly on the scoreboard, but around the contest. Contest clearance, giving them really good ground position.
Melbourne know they've got a game now. Petrarca, straight down the staples, scoots to the back. Wilkie, he's got a decision to make here. Wanganeen Miller, little bounce. Had Sparrow covered. He covered easily. Finds Jones.
Probably had another gear to go to as well. Messiah. This is what the Saints have shown us early on the game. Prepared to be patient, go wide.
Huge grab up and about Daniel Turner. Had the springs in Alice Springs. Amazing. And now Caminiti's free.
Jeez. It's just the hold of the jumpers. That was the obvious one, but fantastic mark by Turner.
Crowd enjoyed that. Going back for another one. Handoff was nice. Marshall, they're on. Hall hands it off. Been pretty good with their inside 50 kicks. That was over the head of Higgins, though. Sharman gave it up. Boxall this time. Still alive, Butler. Wood. Handed it over. Travalia. Dead centre in the red centre. How good are the Saints going?
Oh, they're hot at the present time. St Kilda, after conceding the first goal, they have just been on fire here, and they are really impressing everybody around the nation who's watching this game. They are sharp, they're hot, they're pressurising, and they're also taking hangers. In fact, that was a Demons disco hit the disco lights.
There was a handball from Hall further up the field that just kept this ball in motion and then really made an untidy Melbourne defence. They've been shown up in this first half. They've got options everywhere, St Kilda. We just see here, it ends up with Travalia. But they had options everywhere. From the moment that ball went inside forward 50, they are just working harder than Melbourne at the moment to give themselves chances forward of the ball.
Great stuff from Cooper Sharman, the spoil, the gather, the handball release.
High, Marshall. So the number one ruck in the comp, Max Gorn. Marshall's got his work cut out, but he's doing a good job off through hands. Higgins, quick onto it. Hall, quick fire. Nailed it. How's the wow factor of the Saints right now?
Well, that was just brilliant. Brilliant ball movement coming out of the centre. That was just super quick. There was a really sharp handball involved, and then the kick was brilliant. Have a look at this. And now that really strong kick inside 450. That's a dart. Should have taken the mark, but this one, there's the handball. Super quick, released, and then nailed it.
Second goal from centre bounce. Jarrett.
Yeah, most of these scores have been from turnover,
Yep.
but when you get two from the centre, you're on fire.
Yeah, 4 goals from turnover, 2 goals from centre bounce.
Given the calibre of the player that's in there for Melbourne, that's swift. That's a really good handball.
From the restart, there's a lot of people who thought Ryan Marshall could be the number one ruck in the comp this year. Max Gorn's been that guy. There's been a few contenders for it. Marshall's putting together a pretty good game out of the middle. So the umpire's found a free. It's go to Sinclair and it's on.
They've given away some really silly free kicks. You've got to watch that might not be 50 metres from Clayton Oliver. But they'll need to chase again here, Melbourne.
Inside Steele, caught. Gave it back. Boxall has been lively. Windhager, Burns, chip. Just missed his man, Carroll. As the sub has come on his first game as a Saint, the ex-Blue. And Petty slows it down, and that might be the modus operandi for Melbourne, just to take a bit of the heat out of this. And this beautifully hot afternoon in the Alice. Wilkie, caught. Carefully rolled.
Yeah, I think it's the right way to take the pace out of the game. If it keeps being a ping-pong style of game, it certainly suits St Kilda at the moment.
Jake Melcham came off earlier in this quarter with a shoulder injury, left shoulder injury. He's just gone for the last 2 marking contests and hasn't been able to raise his left arm. He's gone forward now, so he looks pretty weak out there with that left wing.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that. Thanks for that, Dicko. So already a bit of an attrition rate in this opening term. Wide ball and nicely grabbed by Owens, who landed like a cat, wants to go. It was a kick wide, and Fletcher's dropped that. Umpire almost paid it, and the Saints almost paid it.
Getting a bit of a spanking right now in the contest, Melbourne. They're well down in the contested ball. They're well down in clearance. 2 goals from centre clearance, so the scores are starting to rack up.
So Melbourne have come in having won 5 of their last 6. St Kilda's come in having lost their last 3. Gone. A big boy mark there. Not a big boy kick though, although the chaos ball might work for Pickett. Goes in hard, collects, gives, Melksham, inside hand off Petrarca. Well, he hit the belly of the ball. He could have gone with his left. That was bizarre, really, from a player of his skill set.
There was a missed opportunity, wasn't it, from track? Good mark by Gorn, though. That's sort of been the area of the ground where they've failed to get through. St Kilda, for the last 15 minutes, have been really good at turning that ball over and then transitioning from that.
Travalia.
We're really pleased with the 38 points in this quarter, St Kilda. It's their third best opening quarter in the last 5 years.
Wow, Hill thumps it wide. She's a big pack. Turner from 4 deep, got a fist on it. Hall, he's had a good first term, locks up sharp.
So I think the message at quarter time from Simon Goodwin is just you need to buy into the fight of the game, defend a lot better.
A couple of clearance in contest wins, it always helps.
Langdon, we're into the hot spot. He can rush this Sinclair if he wants to. He's got enough on his hammer. He elects not to. Caminiti. He's turned into a defender this year. To Owens, who got there way late on Gore, but spills it. May, as the seconds tick down. Petty! Milksham Frere, a petty mark. The umpire has to make a choice.
You pay the mark, wouldn't you? It looks better. Then I think from St Kilda, Jared, just be patient, wait for your opportunities to open up. They've picked the right moments.
A big push out there.
Yeah.
And it's so prevalent. Good to see the umpire play one.
And it was well before the mark was taken, not at the same time. They often do default to the mark rather than the push if it's at the same time, but that wasn't even bang bang. There was a delay in between. This is important for the D's. Silent sounds, he works it back, got it!
Great kick.
Just what the doctor ordered. Good contest at TIO Traeger Park in Alice Springs. Great to have your company on Fox Footy, and the Saints lead by 24 at quarter time, 6-2-38 to 2-2-14.
All right, welcome in everybody. Eddie G, what's going on here with the D's? I tell you what, that is just not clicking on that. I'm trying to mark that, show you the goal scorer, but it's not just coming up. I tell you what, the Saints were really good in that opening term, 6-2-38, leading the D's 2-2-14. Just as well, the D's got a goal right on the siren, bring them back within contention, just to 24 points. 4 goals is the lead to the Saints. I tell you what, the Saints look good there. They were moving the ball well. Melbourne just couldn't get their hands on the ball at some point of the game, and that was just controlling. Melbourne looked slow throughout that quarter, but the final couple of minutes of that game, Melbourne responded a little bit, which was good to see. Anyway, hopefully the D's come up for you for your multi. There we go. But Saints doing it all well, and of course straight kicking, that's what you got to do when you got your opportunities. Take them and punish the opposition. And that's exactly what St Kilda have done. Hey, let's just have a look. Well, let me just bring this up. I was a little bit slow, wasn't I? I was a little bit slow. Let me just have a look at the lineups because I didn't get there. For Melbourne, Bailey Laurie coming in. Charlie Spargo going out. The sub, Bailey Laurie. And of course, for the Sainters, Jack Carroll coming in. Dan Butler coming in. Going out was Darcy Williams. Liam O'Connell, new player and sub Jack Carroll. I think Jack Carroll's already been subbed on for the Saints. One of the Saints players got injured, so he is already on. There is your team. Let's go and have a look at some of the players' stats. This will be interesting. I want to have a look at some of the team stats if I get a chance. I want to have a look at the disposal count. Isaac Keeler and Maxi Hall already got 2 each for the Saints. Travalia's got 1, and of course Dan Butler's got 1 for the Saints. For the Melbourne Demons, of course, Bailey Fritsch got 1, and Jake Melsham, who got 1 on the siren, is the only other goal scorer there for the Melbourne with just the 2 goals. Let's have a look at the disposal count. There we go. Marcus Winterhager tops the table with Jack Sinclair, both on 9. Fantastic opening quarter by the Saints. Bailey Fritsch best for the D's on 8. Callum Wilkie 7. Isaac Keeler on 7. Petrarca, well, he was pretty much unside. I didn't see him too much in any of the play, although he's got 6 touches. There we go. Let's just roll on down. Zach Jones with the 6. Wangani Miller, he looks reasonably good out there with the 5 touches, 4 kicks. Having a good trot down the wing on a couple of occasions. Maxi Hall on 5. Max Gawn, the big man, he's had 5 touches, 2 kicks, 3 handballs, 7 hit-outs. Always goes pretty well, does the big man, Maxi Gawn. Let's roll on down. Clayton Oliver, Well, he's back to his, he's having arguments with his opposition, giving away a 50, etc. like that. He needs to pull his head out of his backside today if he wants, if they want Melbourne to get up over the line here. He needs to perform, play footy. Hey, I just want to have a quick look at the team stats. This is what I thought. Disposal's already plus 38 to the Saints. As I said, the Saints were in full control of that first term. 38, it just looked like Melbourne couldn't get their hand on the ball during that quarter. Plus 18, plus 20 in the handballs. Inside 50s, already a fair few for each. 14 to the D's, 4 scoring shots. 16 for the Saints, 8 scoring shots. So they're scoring 1 every 2 times they go in. 6 goals, fantastic effort, as you can see. Disposal efficiency, reasonably good for both teams. Free kicks, pretty high in the opening term, 7 to 8. Umpires having a field day with their whistle out there. There we go, as we would expect. Of course, Maxi Gawn leading the hit-outs out there. That's why Melbourne's hit-outs in top, 8 to 6. Clearances, the Saints on top there, though, 6-9. Centre clearances, Saints getting the job done, 5 to 2 there. Contested possessions are definitely harder at the ball. The Saints, Melbourne don't seem to be putting a great deal of pressure on at the moment out there. Melbourne not putting a great deal of pressure on. Saints controlling this game so far in the opening term, 36-27, uncontested, as you can see. A little bit of keepings off there. There we go. Melbourne were just lagging behind their players. That goes to show where the marking is considered as well. 22-35 plus 13 to the Saints. Marks inside 53-2. All right, let's head back over here, folks. Let's get back, relax and enjoy life. Kilda had a great first quarter, certainly did, certainly good. I tell you what, the Saints were good. There's Isaac Kilda. You can't get much better than that, can you? 7 touches, 7 kicks, 4 marks, 2 goals, 1. Fantastic opening quarter from Kilda. Spot on. All right, let's get back down to the action. It's the Saints by 24 points. Can Melbourne actually lift and start to play footy? Put a bit of pressure on, or the Saints just going to have a picnic in the park and continue to roll away with this game?
And you need someone to light the fuse, or you need a couple to light the fuse. Is it going to be Petrarca, who's got a job with Steele being in his back pocket? But they need someone to activate, and someone to collectively, or someone to activate now, and probably the collective of the midfield group.
Kicked the last goal of the opening term, did the D's, to cut this back to a 24-point margin.
The other matchup is Marcus Windhager on Cozzy Pickett. Windhager, the leading possession winner on the ground with 10. So locking Cozzy away and then also being able to get some ball himself.
It's a great start by him. If he continue that, he'll get the votes from the coaches at least.
Playing Oliver having a rest to start this second term, as you saw. High. Gawn's free.
Geez, everyone's hanging around Gawny for a hand pass. You see Rivers and Salem.
Gave it to Rivers. Plants his foot into that. Marshall back. Sinclair's free anyway. Marshall did well. Back in the hole. Happy to take the heat as long as he could take the Sharon. Wilkie. No one came at him. Owens. Play on quickly. That obviously is what Ross Lyons asked them to do. Good pick up on the move. Hall. Jones. Windhager. All the answers at the moment. Steele to a one-on-one. Little push on Sharman. Lever doesn't argue.
Yeah, it looked easy in the end, didn't it, from Saints? Once again, broken tackles, no pressure. You said as soon as they missed that kick inside their defensive 50, there wasn't relentless frontal pressure. They've just got too much time and space at the moment, St Kilda. I think as we've seen from previous shots, this is just outside the right goalpost.
Gave it away a bit too much. Cooper Sharman, former Giants Academy player, moved to Melbourne to study and then moved to the Sandful to get noticed. Another mid-season draft selection. And a good addition to the calendar by the AFL, the mid-season draft. Plenty of stars have come from it. Rivers. See Penny tied up in that 2-on-2. Petrarca, nicely done. Langford, inside kick, delightful Johnson.
Yeah, great vision. But Langford may get it back here. Johnson will go back and settle himself for this shot. He's certainly got the journey in him. Just shows how important those contests are. If you win those contests, get numbers around the ball and make really good composed decisions going forward.
Just game 5. First season of the club, picked 68 in last year's draft. Had to work back, but nowhere near enough.
Well, he's got so much potential, this bloke. He really has had an impact, but he's got to sort out his goal kicking because it's the real cream. It can determine whether or not he's become a top liner or an in and outer.
I've seen quite a few games this year where a team that's kicked straight has reaped the rewards. Adelaide Crows amongst those. So many sharpshooters in their lineup. Steal wide, delightful delivery. The Sharman, it turns and goes. Couple of options inside 50. Higgins the one. It looked high from here. Looked high from there. Bowie throws his head back in you.
Great transition though by St Kilda. They are putting Melbourne under some heat, and they're going to have to lift their game if they're going to get back into this, because they're taking it up to the Demons.
Jack Higgins, see, he didn't like Adelaide for gather round. See if he likes it here a bit better. No, it's across the face. So there wasn't much to do in Adelaide. Bright sunshine here. Began the round equal 4th in the Coleman race as well. Jack Higgins having a fantastic season. Salem. Big pack about to go up there, Scorn and Marshall. Marshall thumps it central. Big hip and shoulder. Harder Clark. High contact on Rivers.
I thought it was perfect technique from Clark.
Absolutely spot on.
Really unlucky.
I mean, Hunter Clark was involved in a really contentious issue with that whole incident being examined at the tribunal, and that should have been play on.
The Rivers showed no sign that there was any high contact at all, and normally players show a little bit, not too much.
It was also poor technique from Rivers, perfect technique from Clark.
Yeah, well, it depends on how you teach it, because AFL almost wants you to go in head first. Even though I know most parents want their kids to sort of turn sideways. Louis, you're coaching kids at the moment.
I wouldn't be listening to the AFL. That's their instructions.
Maxon Woods sends it long. Over the back. Sharman tried. Well, Hunter Clark probably owes them one. And he gives them one. Got it there by a millimetre.
Well, Judd McVie is the epitome of the optimist. He'd be a solid poker player. He tried to sell it. Unfortunately, the line didn't move with him. But that was the one that you said was owed, Dwayne, and he's delivered. Geez, it's a pretty solid deficit now for the Demons to overcome. They are really going to have to get going now. Great start by the Saints.
Just getting opportunities. You can see there, top on Lang. Lang just no body contact whatsoever. Langdon gets drawn in for the tackle, and then it's a really clever crafty goal in the end. But you're right, the deficit is becoming a lot.
31 points is a lot. Boxall gets there. So some of the young guns are firing as well. Here's this bump. The umpire said was high. Oh, yeah, okay.
He's got his hands on the ball, Dwayne.
Yeah.
You look to see if they overrun the ball.
That's a good point, actually. He was the first to the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good point. That's why we're paying you the big bucks, Jared. Chandler around his body. Pickett. Half held. Still a chance. Hunting it. Pickett in the middle of it. looked a little high. Umpire said no. There's a massive players around he can try. Hankey over 15.
Well, he looked like he was about to blow his whistle, the umpire. And then decided to let it go, but he's still dangerous here, Cozzy Pickett. He'll be on the move. He looks angry.
Oh, he gave him one too. He gave him one. So Windhager doesn't look like he's got the free, so he's not milking it. He actually did get hurt there.
Yeah, he's been challenging Cozzy physically in this game so far. So really trying to test him. He understands the importance of Pickett and the importance of his particular role today.
Pickett has the goals record here at this stadium. 6 goals against Port Adelaide a few years ago. He's coming off 5 goals, 4 last week. Could have been 10. So they know he's the man to stop. Windhager, beautiful kick. The Butler, and is that 50-50? Gee. Wasn't really in the contest to mark Caleb Windsor. Just gave him the nudge to the back. It wasn't a play at the ball. Oh, that's 50. Poke pass. Go and get that. Fritsch almost did get it. Butler tries to go and mop his mess up.
Yeah, that tribunal.
Fritsch just got... Tell you, it's on here.
Bit of feeling, isn't there?
Yeah. It does threaten to boil in a minute.
Look at those ground ball gets, 29 to 18. They are winning the contest on all levels at the moment, the Saints.
Gone, rips out of the air. And he gets it to a good spot as well.
And a good
Lindsay told to go. Xavier Lindsay hasn't kicked an AFL goal, still hasn't.
He just rushed himself in the end by just stepping off his mark. But they're not letting them set. So here they're about to take it.
Oh, Wilkie slammed into the deck. Oh, well, it's either ball or a dangerous tackle. Had to be one of the two. Umpire said that he took off. He took a half step. He almost got told by the umpire, you have gone, and he had no choice but to keep going. High, goal square. Danger averted.
What do you reckon, Jared?
I thought it was going to be dangerous tackle, I'm going to say, but I can see why the players were confused occasionally. Let's have a look. There's a big sling. Head hits the deck. And it's not a suspension, that one, but it's certainly a free kick.
We've seen those made dangerous tackles, but a lot. Again, it's the interpretation of different umpires. It's you never know how long the piece of string is, that grey area. String is different lengths for different umpires. Wilkie wide. Webster feeds it on. Just wheels around Windhager and hits a spot. May got up there and pulled it down.
40 up to 48 marks in Kilda. It's a dangerous kick.
Aggressive. Oliver, and he hits Petrarca, the old firm combined.
Yeah, so great win by Stephen May, and then straight away looks inside the corridor. It's just a part of the ground that St Kilda were not defending on that particular instance. So Clayton Oliver has the ability to go forward under pressure, and Petrarca slips out the back.
Had 28 possessions and a goal last week against Sydney. Christian Petrarca in his 200th. 11-11 this year. You've got the best seat in the house to watch this one on Fox Footy. Straight through the middle, and they're on the way back.
Well, that was absolutely needed. Every long journey begins with one step. Someone famous once said, and that's the journey that Melbourne are on at the present time, with a pretty solid deficit of 23 points in the heat, away from home. But this is a good transition, good ball movement. They've finally accessed the corridor, haven't been able to do that much, and the two superstar mids got together. And from 40 metres out, 45 on the kick, Petrarca nails it.
Been a little bit better around the contest too this quarter, Melbourne. You just see here that the importance of those cut-off marks and then to look inside the corridor, see the options are available. That allows you to continue to play at a pretty fast pace, give your forwards the opportunity to use the forward 50 without congestion. Christian Petrarca nails it on that occasion. He's up to 8 disposals, 1 goal, 4 score involvements.
Owen's doing the ruck work now, and he actually won that, and then there was a late hit. But it was all fair and love and war according to the umpire and lever.
Yeah. That's his best action for the day. Really good intercept.
So it wasn't all fair and love and war as Wanganeen Malera gets up slowly. Let's have a look at this again from the front on. Oh, yeah, Johnson got him.
Yeah,
there was no player trying to smother the ball either.
No, he's in some trouble, Johnson.
He's already missed some games this year through suspension, and Messiah Wanganeen Malera is going to come off and be checked.
Yeah. That's the type of act, I think, when a player is going for the ball that we certainly don't want to see and encourage.
And yet the no umpire said that was a downfield free kick.
Yeah.
After the Rivers one, where it didn't look as malicious as that. So, again, the bizarre situation of the 4-umpire system not picking up some stuff. Lindsay. The hold. Melksham plays on to, or maybe disadvantage, Sinclair. Good grab, Jack Sinclair. 29 possessions again last week against the Gold Coast. Plays 200th next week against, well, not next week, next game against the Dogs after the bye. Saints going into the bye next week. Travalia. Oh, huge flush. Charman just keeps on going for him. Burns wide. Hill. Spears that inside. Chandler off hands. Slung delicately. No. Dangerous tackle. So the umpires are jumping in occasionally, but not all the time. Advantage has been paid, and that might sail. Oh, maybe the footy gods played a role. It hits the behind post. That looked a goal for all money.
Sharon didn't agree with that decision, I think, Dwayne. He did a Yui. Jake Melksham be filthy on that. He was in exactly the right position. That's a good fly, but didn't nail it. And then he's had 2 hands free. Released him. No, that was play on.
And Chandler! They're on the way back again.
Yeah, so they're having a period of dominance, Dwayne. Certainly in the last 5 inside 50s, giving themselves a chance, a bit better in between the arcs in terms of cutting those balls off. Stephen May, we saw the one from him, a little bit better around stoppages as well.
But then also St Kilda, they're down 2 of their better players. I mean, Filippo's a young gun, hasn't played much obviously this season, but Wanganeen Malera are off the ground. He's hurting him and hurting them on their rebound. So the Demons are dining out at the appropriate time. They've got to still got some way to go, but that's a fantastic goal. From the stoppage, from the clearance, he's having a fantastic season, this young bloke. Been really consistent. He'll be right up the top of the BNF.
Wanganeen Malera, he came from the ground, as we know, after that big hit. The doctor's been assessing the vision. Now they've taken him down for a HIA assessment in the room, so I'll keep you posted.
It's going to be a massive loss if they have lost him, though. Already lost Filippo, as Jared said. So Keziah Pickett winning a free in the middle.
Now Saints have just lost all pressure around the ball. Melbourne have lifted. Not to extraordinary heights, but they've lifted. But St Kilda have just fallen away badly.
If you could pick one guy to take out of the St Kilda team, it would be Wanganeen Malera, probably. Chandler hands it off to Bowie. Gets plenty of distance on that. Scoots to the back. It can be rushed through. So you got a toe on that. Almost. It's a behind. Wilkie
With the post.
made sure I've almost got a toe on it as well himself.
Yeah, it certainly came off Johnson's foot. It just clipped the post on the way through. Once again, another inside forward 50 for the Melbourne Demons in the last 6.
Oh, that's a dangerous kick. It's a horrible kick, really. And Chandler can make him pay full price.
He just didn't commit to it, Hilly.
Been out of form a bit, Brad Hill. Game 267. Hasn't quite been his live wire, rack him up, run a heap of K himself. So Chandler for 2 in a row for himself, and 3 in a row for Melbourne. And here's a sharpshooter, Kate Chandler. Once had a run of 11 goals in a row without a miss a few years ago. Oh, post again. Gave it a run. Congested on the wing again, another leap from Xiaomi. I said that was unrealistic. Lever. Some room to roam. Pickett stays down, and Big Max gets the big boy pants on again. Captain time.
Well, you can see Todd Marshall walking over now, and probably apologising to Caminiti as well. He's a fantastic pack mark. Coming back with the flight of the ball.
No pressure coming from behind. Everyone's concerned about the footy. Big Max just reaches, got some protection from Johnson. And the Saints all look around and wondering, where the hell was your man?
Kicked one last week. He's kicked 2-9 for the year. Gee, that got some work late.
That moved, didn't it?
Yeah.
No, it's been a really good chew into this deficit, though, by Melbourne so far. Should be able to work just the way it's going, nail it or level it up by the siren at half-time.
Travaglia nearly lost the handle. Windhager drops it in the hole. Hall. Sharman. Hill runs outside. Clark runs inside. Heads toward the square, and Butler. He's been brought back in to do exactly this. Kick us a couple.
Sharp transition. Once again, we've seen this from St Kilda in the early part of this game. 2-3 from defensive 50.
Takes his full allotment of time, gets his heart rate down. This to break a run of 6 Melbourne scores in a row. Drills it. And settles things down a bit.
It does. I mean, we've spoken about the dominance, the field position that Melbourne have had. 3 goals, 5 at one end. And then the easy transition on this occasion from St Kilda to go from a kicking position to keep the ball in motion. You can just see here the work that's done through the middle of the ground to link up, use handball receives, and take ground, so then you give your forwards a chance to either choose to get it over the back or duck back up on a little tick league. That's just slick ball movement from the back half. 3 goals, 3 from defensive 50 already.
Yeah, I think the average is about 2 goals, 3 for the game, so they're flying. Off that half back line, Melbourne need to address it.
Marshall-Gawn battle resumes. Gawn with a big palm on up to Steele. Might get the hand off. He did to Windhager. It was caught. Rivers played for the free and then left the ball behind. Clark. Jones. Good build-up. Windhager wreaking havoc. Heads to a good spot. Big fist of McVie. Kept alive, though. No. Butler. A little chance to keep it in.
It was up to 16 disposals, Windhager.
Flying, isn't he?
Yeah.
Given he's got control of his opponent.
Saints Academy player, pick 47 in 2021. St Kilda matched Geelong's bid. They wanted him down at the Cattery. Back into play. Marshall almost tunnels it out. And then back in. Sparrow. Wilkie did well. Knocked it down. Caminiti had it and dropped it. Wilkie back. A superstar, really Callum Wilkie is being picked up. No one wanted him in 4 drafts. He's a North Adelaide Premiership player in the SANFL, and the Saints gave him a crack.
That's a beautiful kick along the boundary line.
Hall looks around. Got their mojo back a bit, the Saints, although that might be Travaglia's ball to mop up. Back outside. Down step from Hall. Back to Travaglia on the back pedal. 3-on-3 on the wing. Butler put it to grass. Lever, May, Windsor. Big dive from Johnson and comes over. Ed Langdon gets a moment here.
Just got extra players at that contest, Melbourne, which worked for them because they had the release with Langdon.
Melksham pulls that kick to Rivers. Hunter Clark got a little tiny fingernail on it, and that was enough. Turner goes in, feeds it out. Petrarca almost. Rivers almost. Big ball to win. Petrarca won it. Gave it to Turner. Span out of a jam, but gave it straight away. Jack Carroll. Hall. Back out to Jack Carroll. The ex-blue. Come on early as the sub to Wood. Got a palm on it. Goes and gets it. Thumps it long. Goal square again over the back to Butler.
On a platter for Butler, but that was just magnificent work from Jack Carroll, who's come out of that famous footy factory at Geraldton.
And has he got a list?
Oh, how many, Jared?
Has Jared got a list?
Oh, I'll go through them, but geez, there's some names. Jack Carroll's added to it. Judd McVee's also from the factory up there. It's great fishing country up there, and it's also AFL country.
For 2 in a row to St Kilda, back out to 26 points. Give us some names, Jared.
Well, you tell me who the most famous footballer out of crayfishing country is. There's Paddy Ryder, Graham Pollack, Liam Ryan, Stephen McCann, Paul Hazelby, Andrew Lockyer, Brad Rowe, Jim Searle, Jack Carroll, Judd McVee, and Hattie Taylor.
Well, Harry Taylor, premiership star. Just because it's the Saints game, I'll go Paddy Ryder.
Go, Paddy. Okay. Good afternoon to you, Harry.
Saw Harry a few weeks ago back at the Cattery, in fact. What a great contributor to Geelong's history he has been. Good leader of the club as well as a premiership star.
I think Hayes would be having his hand up in the air as well. Star for the Dockers. This is a great response by St Kilda. The Demons were coming. They looked as if they were going to chew them up, but they've kicked the last two, the Saints.
So the Saints and Melbourne will both be 5 wins, 7 losses if the Saints win this game. Saints have lost their past 3 games to Carlton, West Coast and the Gold Coast. But seasons have been able to hinge on one good result, and this would be massive for them. They could grab this one before their bye. Pickett heads to half forward, nicely delivered to Petrarca. Now the breeze is going that way a little. And he launches it all the way home.
That's it.
Classic Petrarca.
It was like a nice little 5-iron stinger. He knows his limitations. He knew Liam Jarrah, as we see there on the TV screen. You speak about high flyers.
Oh, what a star he was.
He was
The mark of the century one
captivating.
afternoon.
Yep.
He just brought so much excitement to the game, Liam Jarrah. And they're going to need a little bit more excitement of this ilk from Petrarca. That is a dart, as you said. Choked down on it, just punched it. And it was one of his better kicks for the afternoon, if not his best.
Yeah, I think it was a really clever kick by Pickett as well. We just had a shot of Rowan Marshall really spreading towards the top of the goal square, so his direct ruckman didn't spread in with him, so you give it to Petrarca around the 50-metre line.
Gordon and Marshall collide. Steele, Oliver, Steele went off the deck. Great attack from Steele. Higgins, 1-2 works pretty well. Getting back, Turner.
That is a great move. This
Half
bloke
soul into that.
He is blossoming before our eyes as a defender, this young bloke. Plays it forward earlier in the year after being a defender, recruited as a defender, but he really is coming through.
Yeah, and he kept his spot with Lever back into the team. They dropped Tom McDonald, which was a surprise to a few. Travalia wrapped up, flicked it out. Windhager. Clark. 1-2 works again. Just sacked that in the air for May to go and get.
That'll be a dart, that one. It's a good intercept and release by the Demons.
Good contest at the moment. Long ball to Chandler, who took a step, and that was enough. Play it on. Central kick. Big crumb. Pickett just wanted it more than anybody else. Goes to Harry Sharp.
Another poster.
Well, had 2 goes at it. Melbourne should have, St Kilda should have swallowed it up with Caminiti. He just miscued the ball, I think.
This might be good news. We'll go to Dicko shortly, but maybe Nasai Wanganeen Malira has passed the test.
I think Hall's also being examined. Dwayne will get that update soon.
The other one is Clayton Oliver. Clearly got no tagging role. That's the job that he's been doing so well in the past 2 to 3 weeks. Only the 5 disposals for Oliver at the moment.
Marshall, Lever, all flung out from Maxi Gorn's hand. Here's the attack again. Lindsay with a pocket just past a flying sparrow. Couldn't quite pluck it. Dicko.
Good news, Wanganeen Malira has been given the all clear after being assessed down in the rooms. And Max Hall just had some attention done with the physios just on a finger injury, so he looks good as go.
Thanks, Dicko. It's a huge win. Wanganeen Malira available to come back on. I said that he had prior. Did Christian Petrarca, not a lot, but enough. Steele. Hill.
Geez, a goal either way here is going to make a significant difference at half-time.
So they're still going to bring him on, even though there's only a minute and 45 left. By the looks of things, we'll keep an eye on that. The ball at least on the bench side, and that's a great grab made.
He's having a big influence.
So inside, Oliver, they run for him. He took the half netball step, not enough to play on. Pumps it to a good spot. Pickett stays down. Oh, it didn't come down. Johnson made it his own.
Well, 2 big wins there. That one from Johnson. I think he might have pushed him in the back, but nevertheless wasn't paid. But Stephen May was the other one. Yeah, big push in the back, but got away with it. But the Johnson one was the big one. And, the May one was the big intercept, which had it going their way.
Fantastic high-scoring contest at the moment. Aiden Johnson in Game 5. Hammers it home.
He held his position well, Johnson, deep inside the forward 50. I thought Cozzy was going to fly for it at some point. Just bring him on for the last 40 seconds. Wanganeen Malira.
But this is the one.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just got to do better than this, young Owens. He's got a big body, but that's got to be brought to ground. It's got to be neutralised.
I like from his turnovers, though, every single time he's looked inboard, and every time there's been someone available. On that occasion, it was Oliver. So just to change the angle and not go skinny side to allow the defenders to be a little bit more predictable forward of the ball. But Johnson just held his space and knew where the drop of the ball would be.
Good time enough for something crazy from this ball up to finish the half. Pickett lurking. Hunter Clark bumped him out of it nicely. Fed on. Is that high? Or holding it? Oh, Boxall's caught holding the ball. Max Gorn. See what he wants to do here, Big Max.
But no, the time.
Oh, dainty little kick. Oh, and it's cut off. Keeler. Hands it up. Windhager. Well, he probably deserves one. He goes long, goal square. Higgins waiting for the crumb. He's got 3 to beat. Kept it alive. May tried to trap it. Higgins. 8 seconds left. Time enough for a Saints crumb and a goal from this.
Just waiting for Marshall to get there.
Flung in the air. Big pack. Higgins. Oh, did he get it for high? Didn't. From the scramble. Still in there.
Gee, tried.
Did he ever?
Must have been a good tackle. Just need to keep this ball in close if you're Melbourne.
Siren sounds to end it. Now, was that knock through for a behind? It does actually count. It was a defensive score knocked through by Melbourne. Half-time, TIO Traeger Park in Alice Springs. And it's a hot contest. in perfect conditions, the Saints by 13. 6-9-45 to 9-4-58.
All right, we'll be back with the commentators. Not too far away, Eddie G. Sweating it out with his multi there, back to 13 points. So, I tell you what, it was a lot better quarter by Melbourne. They actually put in, they got a bit of run, they got a bit of nice play happening there, did Melbourne. And of course, a couple of connecting balls. Well, Maxi Gawn, tell you what, he doesn't like, they're back on, they certainly are back on. They did hit a couple of posters there, so they're a bit stiff. Melbourne, Maxi Gawn, taking that kick from about 25 out in the angle, come off his boot pretty straight, and then it, for some reason, just went left. He doesn't like kicking them inside 40. You could see that when he took that mark, walked back on the mark, had a big smile on his face. He's probably thinking to himself, oh no, do I have to have a shot? Yeah, but just go back and have a go, Maxi, have a go. Unfortunately, didn't go through for a goal, but a lot better quarter, though. 4 goals, 7. 4 goals, 7. That's what you're saying. Kick straight, 4 goals, 7. But I think that was one of Maxi's missing a couple of posters in there, so it quite easily could have been 3 extra goals on there. 3 goals to the Saints. Tell you what, Melbourne looked like at one stage there, they were right back in it, and they were going to just about get the scores back level at half time, but St Kilda responded with those couple of quickish type goals, got them back out, and of course Melbourne responded again with those 2 goals, get them back within 13 points. So we're in for a game here. We still don't know who's going to win this game. It's going to be a cracker. Can Melbourne lift, or can St Kilda absorb the Melbourne's comeback? Tell you what, there wasn't a great deal of pressure by Melbourne out there. That's what they're talking about. Melbourne need to lift that intensity, that pressure like they've shown in recent weeks. I tell you what, this is a good signs for next week's game against the Pies. If Melbourne bring this type of effort, it's going to be a cakewalk. But it's pretty hot up there, but I think Melbourne have generally done reasonably well up there in the Alice Springs. And St Kilda are just going well. I'm liking the way that, it's been reasonably open out on the wings, but there we go. Look, both teams look reasonably good going inside forward 50. They just probably need to hit their targets a little bit better. But that being said, it's a pretty good game here. It's a pretty good game. Anyone's going to still win this. And, of course, the vote, our poll says that with 53% saying Melbourne, 47% saying St Kilda. I don't know. Who do you think's going to win? Let's hope. I don't know. Hey, I want to bring the ladder in here in a minute. I just want to have a look on the ladder, see where these 2 teams are positioned. Let me just bring the ladder in, turn the live ladder off just for a moment. And of course, Melbourne, as you can see, Melbourne's sitting here in 11th spot before this game, played 11. Playing game 12 now, they've won 5, lost 6, sitting on 20 points, 2 games outside of the 8. So this is pretty much a must win for Melbourne. That being said, Fremantle, that's it. They are in 8th position. They're holding on by a game, which is good. Of course, Fremantle have still got a bye to come, it looks like. And Western Bulldogs got the bye this week. And I think there's 4 teams that got the bye this week. So, Essendon's still got a game in hand. There we go for them. Where else are we looking at? St Kilda. Well, St Kilda, this is pretty much do or die, a little bit like the Sydney Swans last night. St Kilda don't win this game. This will be pretty much, I think, season over. This will be 3 games and percentage outside if they lose this game. But if we turn the live ladder on, St Kilda will leapfrog Melbourne, and both teams then will be 2 games out. So they're still within range going into the second part of the season. It's still going to be a tough job, especially to get above the teams above them, especially like the Dogs, Freo, GWS, Hawthorn, etc. like that. It's going to be pretty tough for both of these sides, but it's pretty much do or die win for both of these teams today out there at the moment. All right, let me just take you back down to the commentators. I'll give a little bit of a wrap up on the opening half, and then we'll get back and have a look at some of the player stats.
He just keeps bodying him wherever the ball goes. He's just making it so hard for Cosy, and he's got to learn to deal with this, because this is what opposition teams are going to do now. They're going to scout this, and just watch. They just give him a little hit here, and it just tires you. You can't get that free run inside 50 when you know you're going to try and get a crumb, and it is tough. And then when he gets there, he's frustrated. He's like, what's going on here? And he's trying to get free. They're trying to put on blocks for him, and then he gets angry, and then ends up hitting Winghager. Winghager gets a free kick, but it comes down to his teammates need to help him out, how he's going to deal with it. Well, he's only on the 7 disposals. Winghagen's had 19, so he's clearly got the better of Cosy at the moment. So we've just got to figure out how he's going to
and
second half.
And that really fatigues you as a player, Ed. You face that a lot in your career when you're getting bumper barred, when you're trying to get back to goal. And we talked about, and you specifically, about the way he plays in bursts, and he's so powerful. We're just unable to see that. But it's not just Winghager. They're all St Kilda's players across the board are getting physical, getting in his way. Not over the top, but just annoying him, which makes it really hard for him.
I'd change it up. I'd throw him just deep to start this third quarter, and just see if you can get some burst from Cozzy, where if he's playing deep, to do that, it's more becomes a one-on-one contest. He's getting blocked going back to goal. So when he's higher and trying to dart back, let's get the game coming to Cozzy. Yes. To allow him to come up at the footy, so his direct opponent can't do exactly what he's doing. Well,
even like Gorney's the one who's been targeted in that scenario at Melbourne, where he's been just hit up the ground and made it so hard for him. So you should have a talk to him and see how did you work around it? Did people help you out? So I think Cozzy needs to find another avenue.
Jono, every time it feels like St Kilda is skipping away to a really difficult margin, then Melbourne pounce. And it seems to be Christian Petrarca that's doing a lot of it, standing up in the big moments and nailing the goal.
Well, he's been very good again, especially in that second quarter. But he's kicked a couple now for the game, and he tried to set the tone early on. That desperation and power we spoke about pre-game was evident early, and he's been able to flow on from that. So he just needs a little bit of help, because he's the lone one in terms of the midfielders for Melbourne that are getting the job done. Oliver's been quiet compared to last week. Langdon just isn't touching the ball out on the wing. Got a coach's vote last week. So there's enough players from Melbourne that can still have significant halves and moments as this game continues on, just to help what this guy's doing on the ground as well.
He's been clean though. Yeah, that's the best part about it. Where the ball hits the ground, his first touch gets it and gives that hand pass.
So Tommy, who needs to come with him? Which teammates are you isolating here to say, come on, give him some support?
Well, we mentioned him pre-game, and it's just mentioned again, Clayton Oliver, along with Ed Langdon out on the wing. There's some senior players, Jake Lever down back, if we're looking at positional things all over the ground. They're the sorts of players that can get back involved and have a big presence in the game. It's their leaders, and you talked about Cozzy needing to lean on Max as a leader. It's some of their leaders across different and multiple positions in the ground where they need to lift.
All right, we're going to head to one of our leaders. Ben Dixon is at ground level. Dicko, let's talk about St Kilda's transition. We know they've got runners and they're moving the ball with speed.
They certainly are. We spoke to Ross Lyon before the game. He wanted the transition to be on point today in Alice Springs, and 21 points from defensive 50. So they have had their ability to go from coast to coast and score. So Ross will be very pleased on the way they're using the ball. They've been aggressive, and they've certainly turned the ball over in the right aspects where he wanted them. So as they transition this ball and they score, AFL average is only 15, so 21 points at halftime is a great return, and it's reflective on the scoreboard. He also he didn't want shallow entries, he wanted deep entries. So St Kilda have scored 7 goals too from inside 30 metres. We've seen Dan Butler get on the end of a couple as well. So transitions on, the deep entries put Melbourne's defence under pressure. So there's huge positives to go into half-time for St Kilda. So Ross would be very, very pleased with transition and the ability to hit the scoreboard.
It's great vision as well, Dicko. When you have a look at what they've done, and the Hunter Clark one to Butler was the one for me, because in the past we've seen the last few weeks St Kilda go outside of that. Hunter Clark handball over the top of the hill on the boundary line and get caught in that position and get nothing from it. He actually steps back inside and then uses his kicking skills to get it to Butler quickly. So all of a sudden they get an opportunity 10 metres out from goal, and Butler got 2 because of their transition by foot and how quickly they got it going.
Well, they need to do more of that in the second half, because they're leading disposals get it there. They're 205 to 137. And so they need more penetrating kicks inside 50, top of the square, let your smalls go to work.
Because they've been really efficient in that part of the ground too. They're running at 37% scoring efficiency inside forward 50, which is a really high number with only 24 entries. So if they can get it in there, change angles, keep the speed on, they look dangerous when they go in.
Well, they're ranked 17th in the competition from defensive transition inside 50 to score. And so to see that twice in that quarter, just working, yes.
Well, a key part of St Kilda's ball movement, of course, is Nasiah Wanganeen-Miller. The good news is he does look to be okay as we head into the newsroom with David Zeta. The question is Johnson going to be in trouble? The action is one we want to stamp out. The consequences here, thank goodness, weren't too bad.
Yeah, so that probably saves him from a 3-match ban. It's just a matter of whether the MRO assesses this as reportable, and then if it is reportable, it's likely, given the potential to cause injury, a medium impact or even high impact. So medium impact would be 1 match, high impact would be 2. Was he contesting the ball, and was he doing so reasonably? And was there significant contact to the head? Obviously, the amount of time Wanganeen-Miller has spent off the ground would suggest that there was contact to the head and that there was significant enough to warrant a concussion test. So I think it's likely he sees some time on the sidelines, Aidan Johnson, but not as much as he potentially would have had there have been a concussion involved. So a setback for him, obviously. Also a setback for Matthias Filippo. So this was an issue that reared its head in the first quarter. He had a left calf issue that he was subbed out of the game with. So he's had a rotten run with injury. First, he had a stress fracture in his femur in the pre-season. Then he came back after 3 months, had a corked quad. And then now he missed about a fair few rounds because of that. It delayed it even further. Just his 4th game back. So several setbacks for him at the moment, and he just can't seem to get a clear run at it. Also, lots of setbacks for Max King. Now, the Saints are hopeful they've finally solved the issues with Max King's troublesome knee. They feel like this time around he is not showing any signs of recurrence or anything like that. He was back running on the Alter G. He spent a week off the track. There's no signs of that knee jarring or the soreness that he had earlier in the season that other surgeries couldn't get to the bottom of. Now, they are tentative with their return date for Max King, given the amount of time he's missed, but round 18 at the moment against Sydney is the rough return date for him. So Saints fans could be seeing Max King back out on the park as soon as round 18. He will play football at senior level again this season. It's just a matter of when. As I said, round 18, the target at this stage. And Jack Viney, the target is next week. It was also today, really, heading into the week before he trained on Friday, Jack Viney, and suffered yet again, was not able to tick all the boxes and was not feeling 100%. He hasn't played since that West Coast win in round 8, so it has been quite some time away for Viney with that injury. He had the training session on Friday, didn't tick every box. He did make the trip to Alice Springs. He completed a game load training session today and got through unscathed. So the D's confident he'll be okay for King's birthday next Monday, but also aware that they said that last week, and these things with concussion particularly, there's no real time frame you can put on it, but they are hopeful he'll be back out there. Cozzy Pickett, we know he's out there at the moment. We heard Ross Lyons jibe at the at Barb at the start of the game that they may have to expect a call from Gubby Allen, but the Saints haven't, I've been told, haven't been spoken officially to Cozzy Pickett's management about a potential trade, and also the D's are very confident he loves the place and he's staying put. They're always pointing to the contract, understandably. We know the contracts aren't what they were in the past, though, and a lot can change between now and October. But at this stage, Cozzy Pickett loving the Demons, and they're hopeful and they're confident that he stays put. But plenty playing out at the moment in this game and still a half to go.
Plenty happening. Thank you very much to David Zeta. We might have another look at that Johnson hit and gauge your opinions on it. Tommy, what did you think?
I didn't like it. I know there's been a lot of talk about contact made from player to player throughout the season, and there hasn't been a heap of clarity, but he's an aggressive player, Aidan Johnson, and the fact that he leaves his feet and goes hard at the player suggests to me that he had only one intention, to leave his feet, which is a scary thing, because the outcome had been different. He could have been looking at a long time on the sideline.
It's the action, and you said it perfectly. He jumped off the ground, turned shoulder, hit the face, and that's what we want to stop.
Yep, he's gone. Simple as that. So it'll probably 1-2, because it looks like Wanganeen-Miller will come back onto the ground. So we're outcome based, of course. Outcomes positive for the Saints in the second half here, but the reality is he's Max. He's gone.
We're seeing some falling accidents being in strife, so surely something is clearly out of the rules, as that one's probably not going to be great. All right, we head to the break now with Alice Springs and the kids having a marvellous time in the middle. It is the St Kilda Football Club leading it by 13 points. Can they hang on and break their run of losing matches? Or will Simon Goodwin's men turn it around? You're watching the Sunday Ticket right here on Fox.
All right, there we go. A little bit of a wrap up from the commentators there, folks. Let's go and have a little bit of a look for the team stats, and we'll have a look and see how your favourite players are faring out on the ground. The AFL fantasy points, I haven't checked these out for a while. If you play that game, Winhager's tops the table 75 points up to half time. Jack Sinclair 72, Max Hall 62. The rest under that. The goal scorers in the game so far, we've had a few more goals being put on in that second term. Dan Butler now got a couple nice ones over the back. Nice close goals for him for the Saints. He's up to 3 and the leading goal scorer out on the ground. Isaac Kilda had a nice opening half, a little bit quieter in that second term, of course, but still nice with 2 goals. Max Hall with 2. Travalia with 1 and Hunter Clark also with 1 for the Saints. For Melbourne, Christian Petrarca, he certainly lifted in that second term. He was good. He was that bit of a spark that Melbourne needed. He's got 2, the leading goal scorer for Melbourne. Melsham's got 1. Johnson, Fritsch and Chandler also have singles there for Melbourne. As we go and have a look at the disposals, let's see who the ball magnets are out on the ground. Of course, Marcus Winhager and Jack Sinclair both with 19. Doing nicely out there. 6 clear of Callum Wilkie on 13. Jack Steele on 12. The top 4 all from St Kilda. Stephen May. Tell you what, Stephen May and Christian Petrarca there. 12 and 11 touches for Melbourne. Stephen May certainly holding the line back there for Melbourne. I tell you what, without him today, this margin could be a fair bit further out. Same with Christian Petrarca. He certainly gave him a little bit of spark, as I said, in that second term. 11 possessions, 6 kicks, 5 handballs. He's had a clearance, 2 goals, 1. Drilled a nice low ball from 53 out, straight through the sticks. So Petrarca back on song. We should see him having a reasonable second half coming up not too far away. There we go, Max Hall and Hunter Clark. Hard to imagine, though, only 2 players of Melbourne up to half time, 12 and 11. Max Gawn on 10. So only 3 players from Melbourne have double-figure disposals. Wowee. There we go. That's probably another rare stat. I'd like to check the history and see what that is like. Only 3 players with double figures up until half-time. Christian Salem there for the Melbourne is next best, just on 8 possessions. Wowee. They need to... They need to get the ball a little bit more, Melbourne, start doing something. And, of course, Bailey Fritsch, the 8. Looks like one of the Muppets there with his big hairdo, but there we go. Looking for a big second half from him. Dan Butler on 8, as I said. Those 3 goals, just the 5 kicks, kicking pretty straight. Fantastic. Kaiser Pickett, a little bit slow. He's been well tagged. 7 touches, 3 kicks, 4 handballs. Don't leave it till the last 4 games like last. No, exactly right. Of course, Freo, with the bye, they'll freshen up. And as you said, they've got the following 3 games at home. It's in their hands. They need to take those games out and cement themselves in the top 8. As you said, you don't want to leave it to the last few games. As you can see, the bottom half here, look at that, all dark blue. That is all Melbourne players with very limited possessions there. And, of course, one of these players from Melbourne, I was saying it last year and the year before and part way through this year, Clayton Oliver. I think he's one that Melbourne need to get out and possibly trade at the end of the season. I just don't think he's value for Melbourne at all. I think he's, I just don't think he's really out there and wanting to play in most of the games. Look, he's had a few good games and that's about it. I think they could trade him for a couple of reasonable players. I think that's what I'd be doing if I was Melbourne. But hey, it's time to head back down to the ground, folks. It's St Kilda by 13 points. We're off to the bounce of the ball in just a moment. Lost our last 4 games last season and missed the finals. Wowee. There we go. I mean, that's the thing. You've got to be running into good form coming into finals. That's so important. And, of course, playing your last game at home, that was one they certainly expected to win and be in the finals. Hopefully this year out of G, the Dockers will get in. All right, let's head back down to the ground for the second half. That's the Saints by 13.
Elevated to a really, 180, 190. They seem to get bang for buck off that particular context and clearance. That will be the challenge in the heat.
That there is good news for Saints supporters. Wanganeen Miller are sitting on the half-back line ready to roll.
Second half underway. Great to have your company on Fox Footy. Oliver hands it straight over to Windhager, who's had a brilliant game so far. Marshall bangs it. They've got the use of a bit of a breeze. Scoring in. Higgins. Hall. Hunter Clark. Hill. Over the head of Jones. Petrarca tried to go and get it, but lost it. Windhager lets the wind get it. And a good mark taken by May. Keeler was dominant in this game early, but May's hit back. Burns off the spill. Big ground here in the Alice. They're using the full width. Hill inside. Marcus Windhager. Tapped away. Sinclair. Sparrow. Sinclair almost let him pick it up so he could wrap him up.
It was a good intercept by Sparrow. St Kilda trying to come across the ground, use the open side, involve their runners.
Toulon got there late. Marshall scrambles it away again. Playing in front, position A. Sharman was there.
It's a second clearance by Marshall, just the kick out of congestion from the ruckman.
Oh, that's brilliant smother as well.
You don't see that too often with the man on the mark these days. Not being able to move.
Worth their weight in gold.
Yeah, or the players that elect to go the fight. I think you're right on Stephen May. He's fought back really well. It was well beaten in the first quarter by Keeler, but certainly after that, he's a proud player. He's an All-Australian player. He's fought back well.
Gawn played front spot that time.
And they can't allow Rowan Marshall to just drop off like that and get Max to get an easy takeaway.
Thank you.
Great crowd in. Perfect conditions. Ground's like carpet.
Almost tidied up their clearance work in that second turn. That's better from Marshall. And Jones.
Yeah, he had it, dropped it, went and got it again and handballed it out in the Owens direction. Turner holds him up.
Just wonder whether Clayton Oliver would have a run with either Clark or Steele just to give him a point of reference, or even Jones.
Holding free, you saw Ross Lyon, third season as St Kilda coach the second time around. He knows how big this is. Season's hanging by a thread. Saints don't want to lose 4 in a row heading into their bye.
Outside fire.
Again, using the full width, get it into the corridor.
Certainly searching for another possession inside the corridor, but St Kilda have defended that part of the ground well.
Lever heads back.
Awesome wide. It's going to be tough though. You just see St Kilda here just moving across and not really coming in to create overlap.
May took the step and he spears that down the line nicely. Fritsch. Oliver with the 1-2. McVeigh arched his back. Takes off. Thumps it. Pickett waits for the crumb. Wasn't a soft drop. He was waiting for that softer punch away and Melksham wrapped up.
It's great vision there of Stephen May. He was the conductor of the orchestra. He was calling for Fritz to come up, and finally Fritz got on his bike and they got the transition.
All slapped down. Pickett lurking again. Steele. Wilkie. Hill. Melbourne have the 2-on-1. Windsor went back and got it again. Outside of the boot kick. Cut off by Wood.
Yeah, just needs to be better with that kick inside forward 50. There was no pressure on Caleb Windsor.
That's a good kick. And thought Owens was going to get there. Now Lever pressures him. Knocked out towards Sharp. Caught.
They did well there, Owens, just to keep the ball in and not let it out. With that kick from Windsor, you need to have more composure, choose a better option going forward and not kick it directly back to St Kilda.
Langdon caught. Just got a kick away and Petty a little fumble. Good enough to shrug. Got past a couple. Back to Sharp. Centering kick. Saints for the numbers. Webster. Ugly bounce for Higgins, but he got it okay. Gave it to Hill. Been missing a few targets and he misses another one. Turner. Wilkie. Can't mop up that mess. Fritsch gets it. And still down.
Players down,
yeah.
Fritsch is down. There's a Jones. Just cop a bit of friendly fire from Kel Wilkie. He looks to be really sore. Well,
There he is.
He's all of a sudden better, right?
The power of getting the Sharon out the hill. He needs a moment. Arched the back, gave it up. Higgins, handball to himself. It might work. Jarman, Owens runs through the traffic and misses.
This is one of the extra disposal, Jack Higgins.
That is a first-class act of butchery, that one. That was a really good passage of play. Just let down by... It's just a really average shot of goal.
Early fly, Sparrow. Got some hang time. Chance again for Melksham. Marshall front spot. He wore a knee to the back. He's a little sore. Langdon, handball cut off by Wilkie. Knocked it further on. Fantastic low tackle by Jones.
Yeah, it's a good call, Dwayne. The smother from Wilkie was excellent. There's the knee into the kidney. Doesn't quite get the mark.
Petrarca, speaking of knees to the kidneys, and he's caught and dragged down. It's almost a year to the day. Christian Petrarca next week, King's birthday, will return to the MCG a year after getting that knee that at one stage threatened his career. Pickett turns, inside kick, Langdon he's got. Langdon he gets.
That's not very like Wanganeen Miller making a mistake like that.
Oliver fed it back. Salem really has a fly, hit the deck. Fritz couldn't make something of it.
He was pushed.
When he kicked it?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, by Cozzy.
But the fact was he just delayed it for so long. It's just... He allowed himself to be impacted. It's amazing the amount of possession St Kilda have got, and yet they're well down on inside 50s.
Steele was quick with the hands, and that's a win for the Saints. They get it outside 50 and they can reset the ball in.
Yeah, he's looking. He knows he's there, but he just gets his timing right. It was well done by Cozzy.
He's got a great one-step speed because he can really accelerate off almost nothing. Power to weight ratio is pretty good when he puts his foot down. Hill tried the knock on to Clark, who didn't have prior.
I mean, that's got to be holding. If Christian Petrarca gets paid for holding the ball inside the forward 50, and he didn't have any arm free, yet Hunter Clark has one arm free, and they get paid a ball up.
They have been paying that this week.
But trying to pick that.
Petrarca wobbles it to half forward. Pickett went down low. Little knock on was good. Fritsch, dance step was great. Handball not so. Sinclair saves the day as he so often does. Wide ball, Salem.
Yeah, so this is the game. So much congestion inside forward 50 for Melbourne. So they need to change the angles here. Try and bring it to the open side, or at least to the corridor, to open up the other part of the forward 50.
A few options. Langford's inside 50, hoping for this. Nearly. Wanganeen Miller, well, he's given it straight back. McVee has not quite got it there. It's hit the post off a hand.
But it's the right kick, so to not go back skinny side where all congestion was. The kick to Langford across the face of goal, albeit a bit risky, just gives the Melbourne forwards a little bit more time and space.
Yeah, the pressure's right up for both sides now, well into the 200s. It's game on the line.
There has been a lot more congestion around stoppages.
Yeah. Which normally suits St Kilda, who love playing a fast break style of game. They're chipping it around, just looking for an opening.
It's a Hill down the spine. Steele, Webster. Almost turned over, but it now opens up perfectly for them. Boxall. Hall took too long.
Yeah, probably had to give it back to Boxall. Maybe didn't hear him coming past.
Turnover again. Boxall gets a second chance at it. Gives it off this time to Wood. He's within range. Heads toward goal. And Keeler, what are you doing?
You definitely want the ball in Wood's hands, though. He's the best kick probably St Kilda have got besides Wanganeen Miller up, but I think that sentiment, Dwayne, reverberated around houses right around the country with the red, white and black.
Crazy stuff happens in the game of footy quite often. This is a foreign ground to both these teams, but no awareness of where the posts were there. Petty, good hands.
Pick it deep, one-on-one.
Or Chandler.
Oh.
Gee, he set him a task, and now he set him an angle.
It's probably the worst possible result, albeit Chandler being a left footer.
There's a chance.
He's done a power of work there, Kay Chandler. So he'll probably need his full 30 seconds just to get his breath back. Works really hard, this lad.
Kick 1-1 so far. 53-30 career, so as I mentioned earlier, has been a pretty accurate goal kicker and did have that run of 11 goals in a row without a miss. This is within his repertoire. It's across the face and it's come through. Biggest margin of the game was 31 points. Saints led by that. Melbourne did lead early in the game. Kicked the opening goal of the afternoon, but then he's got the short. Saints pot on 6 in a row. He goes short and flicked away nicely by Lindsay, who read his eyes.
He's pretty sharp, Lindsay. There's no excuse for turning the ball over there, though. That's a free kick. The competition's changed the rules to give you a free kick, and getting advice from the grandstand, get it long.
Marshall and Johnson this time. Marshall, counter, it was a kick. Petrarca spins out of a jam. Sparrow span into one. Boxall. Hall. Got it back again.
Got some tricks.
Almost got it back again for 3 in a row. Possessions wide. Fritsch.
His tackle.
Turn boundary side. Handball cut off again. Boxall having some good moments. Owens wide, Steele, Bowie. Well, he thought about the boundary, but then had some space. Salem. Bowie had to be mentioned at the All-Australian Selectors meeting this week. That's a good mark from Sharman. Bowie's having a sensational year.
Geez, the pressure from Jack Steele lacked a bit on the boundary line a couple of times. He must be right at the end of his
I wonder what he was looking at me for.
Yeah.
Windhager again. On the back step. Good enough to hit the target. Wayne Miller. Eat my dust. That is amazing. That's as good as it gets. Players around him, he takes them on, he knows he's got them covered, he almost entices them by going at 90%, and then when they think they might come at him, he goes at 100. Jack Carroll centres it to Webster. Flicking it around, Hill gets to finish.
Good to see Jack Carroll again. Very impressive player. Another one from the Geraldton Footy Factory. And we've got second edition players from Geraldton coming, Dwight.
Right, I can't look forward to hearing some more names.
Have you had some feedback, have you?
Had a little contributions.
So Brad Hill, 3-time Hawthorn Premiership player. And now a senior Saint who needed to know that moment.
Yeah, great goal by an experienced player in Brad Hill, but set up by another player from the factory. Here's some names I missed. In fact, they're written down. I don't know how I missed them. Chris Mainwaring, one of the greats.
Oh, yeah.
Josh Kennedy, Eagles royalty, AFL royalty. Patrick Cripps Carlton, dual Brownlow medalist.
Okay.
Jamie Cripps, Saints and Eagles.
Great player.
And I'm going to throw in Jaeger O'Meara from Dongara, which is just up the road. So it is a factory.
You missed some heavy headers.
I'm just leaving them for people to give me some feedback on.
Right, for the second edition, but you're right.
Gee, I can't wait for the third edition.
Some big names.
Second edition beat the first edition.
Did I mention Liam Ryan, Flying Ryan?
Yeah.
Okay, 2 mentions.
Great finish there. You can see the excitement from Bradley Hill.
Back out to 19 points. Saints began around 14th. 4 wins, 7 losses. Maybe on the ropes. 3 losses in a row coming into this. This would be massive for Ross Lyon and his team.
Just keeping Melbourne at arm's length, aren't they?
Tough task for Owens. Perfect palm down to Pickett from Gawn. Sends a goal with Johnson. Oh, not quite. And he's caught and rolled by Caminiti.
Yeah.
Not ball.
A lot of opportunity.
Well, they got away with one there, the Demons, in many respects. So too did St Kilda, but Cozzy Pickett slipped out the back.
Max.
That'd be a free kick.
Big slap. Gets it into space. Saints have numbers back. Jones. Nice fake to Wilkie. Good smother. Kept it in the area. Ball out of play. And a little nudge for Langford.
Well, this is where you can get busy. We've seen the ruck duel with Max Gawn, with Marshall being off and Owens. This is when you can get on the move if you're Melbourne. Looking for a block, looking for a deal, but get on the move.
Owens nudged him out and did pretty well, actually, for it to hit the deck. Rivers. Langford, touch ball. Burns.
Thank you.
Just in regard to the Saints, they've been really good at working back hard and outnumbering for transition. So you can see when they spread, they've got numbers on the perimeter.
Wood hammers it away after Gawn. Had a sneaky chance at it. Big bump, nice move. Hunter Clark. Butler's already got 3. He's eyeing a 4th. Goes to the outside of the boot. Not quite, Carroll. Caught. Higgins. Oh, he knew.
Yeah,
Carroll
tackle.
was wrapped.
Yeah, good tackle from Jake Bowie. Geez, Higgins took off. Carroll took off. That's probably an opportunity missed if you.
Oh, you got to hit a target when you're coming in like that.
On the transition. Fridge got Petty and got it to him.
Well, that's just one bird at the other end. That had to be a goal for St Kilda, at least a score. And then the rebound was flawless from Melbourne and ends up with Petty having a shot.
Hasn't had a shot today. Harrison Petty. 8-3 for the year. This revamped forward line for Melbourne doesn't work back enough.
Now we saw the first shot at goal. Ball moved left to right, so he had to start that one closer to the left-hand goalpost. Was never coming back.
Jimmy Webster told to go. Travalia.
He's had a good game, Webster. Just turned it over a couple of times, but he's won it really well.
Travalia, or Tootsie as they call him, ducking and weaving. Back towards Tootsie. Couldn't get there in time, he left it for Webster. Game 7 for Toby Travalia. They pick 8 last year, first season. Wants to eventually be a midfielder, playing the centre. Going in defence at the moment. Gawn stripped and not ball. Didn't have Pryor. Boxall gets a high five and a hug.
Just need to get reward for effort and reward for the dominance they've had this quarter, Melbourne. The ball has been camped in their front half. They've had opportunities. They've created turnovers.
Marshall, decisive palm to Boxall. Almost met chin on. Langford. It's across the face. Caminiti, Petty, Wood. Oh, he's gone. Just didn't get it away in time. On the ball.
In time, I think you're exactly right. He got the handball away eventually. The umpire deemed that he had too much time before that was happening. So he was the spare behind the ball. Wood, just see there, just needed an extra second to get his hands free. Harrison Petty gets another opportunity.
And for the first time since the opening term, it's a 2-kick game.
Well, finally, a kick around the corner has nailed it. We're batting at 25% at the present time. That one was never going to miss, you wouldn't think. I guess we always look for comparisons during the day, who's got away with what, and who held it longer in the first quarter and didn't get it away. That's got to be right on the borderline.
Yeah, 13 inside 50s for Melbourne. That's their first goal. So that tells you where the game has been played this half. St Kilda have struggled to go coast to coast. They did on an occasion previously, but just couldn't connect inside forward 50. This is just Melbourne just 4.5 turnovers and just wearing St Kilda down, creating an opportunity.
It's good pressure from Petty, though. That was the second act he had. Max Gorn affecting another centre clearance.
For a secondary kick, Langdon, Johnson, Melksham danced his way to the clear, hits a good spot, Sharp went up, Wood gone again, got it away, Burns on the boot, I'll be coming back with interest. Could be huge if Lindsay can nail it. No.
Tell you what, they've got a winner in Aiden Johnson. He keeps on competing. You just saw him there, lunge late to get that hands on the kick. The kick wasn't great. They've found a ripper in the mature age version, coming in with plenty of experience at the lower levels.
Lindsay's had 2 chances at his first goal in AFL footy. Hasn't been able to nail either. Game 11. They pick 11 in last year's draft. 2 kicks from the lead now. Melbourne. Hill. It's wide in space. Quick dance on, play on. So will they get the inside 50 wide though? Sharman was the man that had a couple inside 50. Butler's been the hot guy. He's got 3 so far. Sinclair and Wood having a little rest before they come straight back on. Strapping.
Well, Stephen May's having such a good game. It's almost worthy of whoever he's picking up, just run to the other side of the ground, just get him out of the way, because he is a big, big impediment for them.
2 ruckmen dance that dance. Umpire puts the whistle away. Clark backed out of a jam. Gave it up to Oliver. Wobbles it to the wing. Bouncing ball. Wilkie. Caminiti. They come at him. Sharp. Got their mojo up and running at the moment, Melbourne. Cut off by Steele. Danger averted. Quick on the rebound, Jones with a spear. Keeler. I'll go the top. Heads to the pocket. Sharman beaten, hands down by Turner.
Yeah. That's what they've done well, I think, after the first quarter. Is Melbourne have won those one-on-ones deep. Leader on that occasion, it's been Stephen May on multiple occasions.
Keeler almost had that range. We saw his ability to kick long balls. Melksham. Bowie. One-on-one on the wing. Good fly, Sinclair. Fresh, just had a rest. Rivers inside. Langford, Rivers, hunted down by Wanganeen Miller. Went low. Melksham, wrapped up by Carroll, went low.
He's had an impact since he's come on.
Playing for his life, really. They've got a few out. Jack McRae, Liam Stocker, Dougal Howard, Max King, Zane Cordy. Liam Henry can't get a game at the moment. So Jack Carroll in for his first game as a Saint. Good pluck from Owens. Coming off a 25 possession 2-goal game last week. Wanganeen Miller found some space where there wasn't a lot. Higging in the middle. Higgins in the corridor takes the mark. How did he get some room?
I mean, you don't even see the option open up, but you see the kick, you see the direction that it goes in. Oh, he's seen something before anyone else has seen it. So that was a mistake by Sharp to lead him back inside.
Oh, what was that? That was a horrible attempt. Owens might make it okay. Butler might make it okay. Butler makes it okay. He's got 4.
Well, they've done their best to torch 3 or 4 goals in this quarter, and even that one looked like it was another really poor error, but Butler tidied it up, found a way through the congestion and got them just to get some breathing space again. But this has been the release. It was a magnificent kick. Just look at the top there. He doesn't move until the kick's actually been kicked. So they knew where they were going, but I'm not sure what that kick was.
Well done to Max Gorn for putting pressure on as well.
Yeah.
But that wasn't part of the grand plan.
No, you can see Stephen May after that goal goes through. He would have had a word to Sharp further up the field to allow Wangani.
Look at him in the background there. He's filthy.
Yeah, you've got to keep players like that on the skinny side. Otherwise, they just open you up with their foot skills.
Yeah, that was a big blast. That's a push on the ruck contest to Marshall. Max Gore knew it, but
He wasn't holding his ground.
no, he just decided to go through with it in the end. Might as well get full bang for buck. So Marshall wasn't kicking over the mark. It wasn't back on his mark. He could pump this inside 50 if he wants to.
Geez, another goal that make it really tough in the last quarter for the Demons.
Wilkie.
Should hurry up and get down there, Marshall, because you can see the big Max gone. He'll be positioning himself.
Burns.
Where this ball will go.
Max is in the middle of that pack. Huge flyers go up. Not leaving anything in the tank at the moment, the Saints. They've got the bye next week. They know this is huge for their season. It's a long 2 weeks if you lose a game from 31 points up.
Yeah, we're just about due for a bit of Cooper Sharman high fly magic.
Lurley. Oliver couldn't. Steele fighting the fight. Jones squeezed the kick top of the square, and good pluck as well. McVee held his ground. Not the required. That looked a good 15, but the umpire got the tape out. French.
Jones has been hunting Oliver for most of the afternoon, and he's doing a pretty good job. Oliver's only had 11, and Jones has done some damage.
Tagging the guy who's been a tagger.
Yep.
Salem coming off that 31 possession game last week against Sydney. It's another they're going to have to stop as a play generator, back in form. They don't look like
They want to score.
yeah.
But try and suck the last minute out of the clock. Just make sure St Kilda don't get another opportunity.
Maxey! So now they can go. Right next to the bench where the sign's being held up, as you can see at home.
I think they've scored one in the last couple of minutes in every quarter so far, Melbourne. It's going to add up to plenty if they win.
Kamini left it behind. Langford went and got it. Gave it off. Sparrow turns it over. Steele. That was a big moment.
Yeah.
You feel
Did well to get back and help in defence.
dangerous and killing. So still time enough for something wild to happen with 20 seconds left. Biggest margin, 31. Saints held that margin. They did lead it quarter time by 24, by 13 at half time. And a chance to win the quarter again, depending on this. Gone. Oliver, a bit overzealous, you'd think there.
There's been a win to the Saints this battle. Not over yet.
No, but the quarter is at least over with them having won it. 17 points, the margin. The Saints plan to keep their season alive, coming off 3 losses in a row. They've done the job so far. They've got a quarter left. 17 points the margin. 7-13-55 to 11-6-72.
All right, there we go. 3/4 time here at TIO Traeger Park there in Alice Springs. It's the Saints by 17 points. Anyone's game up for grabs, that is for sure. The Saints putting on 2 goals. 2 in that third term. 1 goal forward to Melbourne. My gosh, inaccuracy. Is it going to cost Melbourne? I'll tell you what though, Saints have been the better team all day. Melbourne's tried to come back, but 17 points, folks. It's only 3 goals. They could do that within 3 or 4 minutes. So it's still anyone's game here, that is for sure. And of course, a lot at stake for both teams. I think whoever loses this game, well, if St Kilda loses this game, it is lights out. It's going to be hard enough if both of these teams actually, if St Kilda win, it's still 2 games and percentage out, but at least they're still in there with some hope. There we go. Hey, Ryan Avery Rogue One. Thanks, Ryan, for the super chat. Good man. We appreciate it here. Always good to have you on board. Who you're picking in this game, of course, We're cheering for, well, I don't know who we're cheering for. We're cheering for Melbourne, for Addy G's multi to stay alive, because we want to cheer on West Coast in the next game coming up in 2 hours' time. That should be an absolute ring-a-ding-ding game, not too far away. That's only 2 hours away. There we go. St Kilda holding on well low when Melbourne try to make some type of dash for it. Of course, there's a few goals being put on. Let's have a look. Dan Butler's doing the job up there for the Saints. One of the smalls up there, 4 goals straight. That's how you do it. Multi under pressure now. It is under pressure. We're going to see what Melbourne's all is made of in this final term. I tell you what. Even watching the game, Addy, like you, I just don't see the pressure that Melbourne are putting on. But sometimes in the final quarter, when it counts, they know that's the final quarter. They bring that pressure. So it's going to be a very interesting final quarter to see what happens here. Who's going to win? Can the Saints hang on, or can Melbourne actually bring a little bit of razzle-dazzle to the platform and show up? Dan Butler with 4. Isaac Keeler still with just the 2. Maxi Hall with the 2. Travalia with 1. Of course, Bradley Hill's got 1 now. Hunter Clark. And, of course, for the Ds, Petrarca didn't add on to his tally of 2 at halftime. He's still got 2. Harrison Pretty's got 1. Melsham's got 1. Fritsch has got 1. Chandler's got 1. Let's have a look at the ball magnets. Let's see if Melbourne have got any over. We've got a few more up over double figures. There we go. Oh, Marcus Winhager. He's now top on the table with 25 disposals. Very good. 16 and 9. 5 clearances. Jack Sinclair going well. 22. Very good. Jack Steele 19. Stephen May. You know what? I think Stephen May is going to get Brownlow votes in this game. I think he's been the one that's certainly held that defence up for Melbourne. He certainly kept him in the game through when the Saints have been pressing extremely hard. 18 touches, 15 kicks, 9 marks down back. He's doing extremely well, Stephen May. Bradley Hill, 17. Maxi Gawn always tries his hard. 17 touches, the big man. 24 hit-outs, 4 clearances. Christian Petrarca next best for Melbourne, 14. So still pretty low. If you have a look at that, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 10 of the top 12 ball getters out on the ground are from St Kilda. Let's just roll down here. Christian Salem on 12. Who else have we got there for you that's worth looking at? For Melbourne, Trent Rivers, 10. Clayton Oliver, 10. I keep on saying it, and we'll keep on saying it. He should be traded. Try and get some young up-and-comers into Melbourne for him. I think his days are done. Puts in once a blue moon. There we go. Anyway, there's your player stats. Good luck to everyone in the... hang on, let me just correct that back up. Get it back on there. We're only a minute away from the bounce of the ball for the final quarter here. Hey, let's just duck over and have a look at that live ladder now. Of course, they still got St Kilda. If they win this match, up to 92%. So their percentage is better than Melbourne. So that is good. And, of course, better than Essendon's, even though Essendon's got that game clear. But percentage, folks, I tell you what, you want to be up over that 100% if you want to be in the top 8. Give yourself a chance. You don't want to be level pegging on games and be booted out by percentage. So you've got to make sure when you can take advantage of some games, you've got to really put the opposition away. Start and boost your percentage. All right, there we go. That's enough of that. Hey, good luck, Addy G, with your multi with Melbourne. I think we're in for a ring-a-ding last quarter. This could come down to the wire. Don't make no mistake about that. It's that type of game. It could come down to the last kick of the match. We'll see in just a moment. But, hey, that's enough of me from jibber-jabbing. Let's get back down to the action. It's St Kilda by 17 points.
That rage and maintain that forward half game, and then on the other side of the coin is when you do lose that territory battle, if you're St Kilda, how do you then transition the ball? We just saw there Bailey Laurie has been activated, and he's into the game with Johnson out. So that's the change that's been made. It's three-quarter time.
Tacticals up. No injury.
Extra midfielder to play with for Melbourne. Gawn wins the clearance straight out of the middle. That's what the doctor ordered. Turner.
It's gone forward.
Sent forward. We know he can play forward. He'd been a forward most of his life until Simon Goodwin turned him into a defender this year. Took 11 marks in a game a few weeks ago. He can grab a ball, and this is massive. He's kicked 5-3 this year. 22-10 career. And he's normally more accurate than that. A huge bullet dodged by the Saints.
Yeah, what a let-off. Fancy giving up such an easy centre clearance straight into the arms of a guy who you'd expect to nail it. Conceded a couple of intercepted marks from kick-outs here. They don't want to do that again, the Saints.
Looks like Melbourne are going one-on-one as well.
Winging in Miller. That rolls out of play, they'll take that. Clear the area, reset. 16, margin was 31. Melbourne will be just outside the top 8 if they can steal this one back. And Ross Lyon knows the Saints season hanging by a thread. Robert Harvey, 383 games of experience in there as well in the coach's box. Got some stars. Corey Enright, 3-time premiership cat alongside him. Handball inside by Lindsay. Crutch. Back to Sparrow. Hits a good spot with the kick. Melksham flew. Umpires found something. And it's Melbourne's way.
Yeah, I think it was Ryan Burns might have been the one to push Jake Melksham in the back. So what's happening here is Melbourne is sending a half forward up to the stoppage, which is allowing St Kilda to have a spare. They're elected to go their deep spare.
Started on the boundary line though. St Kilda had control of the ball. They had 2 or 3 players and they just butchered it. There's the arm, goes over the shoulder.
Oh, Wilkie.
It's just undisciplined defence.
1-1 so far today. 3-goal game last week against Sydney. Wow. Hard to believe. Perfect conditions.
15 behind. It's a big number.
Yeah, 15-7 and they're leading. 7-15. Trouble in paradise.
Got to get better with these kick-outs. St Kilda got to get a release from this. It's such a good kick.
Winging in Miller up short. Steele thought about giving it back. Does give it back by foot. Travel the required. A sizzler on the boundary. Jones held his ground. Brilliant. Happy to take the heat.
So far, so good for St Kilda. You've got to get it inside forward 50.
Jones long, early fly. Marshall. Big Max runs back to the defensive goal square. Marshall knows he hasn't got the range in him. Clark. Got a few coming past on the drive-by. Windhager. 25 possessions. Long and strong to Owens.
Well, they did that well. They controlled the ball. 20-metre kicks, 15-metre kicks, all the way until the long one inside forward 50. It was a right call from Marshall. It was only going to land in the goal square, so he went sideways. And then back to Windhager, who just kicked it to the dangerous zone, 30 metres out.
Kicked 2-2 last week. Missed a couple he could have got. That is huge. 21 points, the margin, to keep their season alive, the Saints.
It was really an uncontested mark inside the forward 50 for Mitch Owens on that occasion. But I think the work was done further up the field. A little bit of composure, not to go inside forward 50. So this kick comes inside. Windhager goes one side, Cozzy Pickett the other. You can see there the split. So he doesn't follow Windhager. He wants to get away. It's been such a difficult task so far in this game for Cozzy on Windhager.
He was by himself.
They split. So that's the reason why he's got so much space. And to go inside forward 50 to Mitch Owens, who had no direct opponent.
You look at Stephen May, they're looking around bewildered. How the hell did that happen? Great kick inside forward 50.
Getting dangerous now. Windhager has been superb. Oliver slung, but Marshall cuts it off. Rolls it into space. Race on. Ugly bounce for Owens. Good bounce for McVie. Oliver. Pickett. Hasn't had a big afternoon at the office, but you know he can have a big quarter. Chandler cut down. Marshall just lays on him for a little extra.
Mayonnaise.
Yes, absolutely.
It's 50.
Yeah, you'd nearly be happy for the umpire to pay 50 on that.
Okay, Chandler.
Umpire will slow it up though.
Yeah. Big flies go up. Wilkie from 4 deep with the fist, one out. Ball flung out of there. Burns was hammered wide. Marshall couldn't thump it out. Hip and shoulder was huge from Owens.
Tell you what, it's pretty good from Chandler as well, getting rid of the ruckman. He did a great job. And that should have been a tackle, but nevertheless, no harm done. But Owens excellent. Sorry, Chandler excellent.
He got up with a smile on his face.
He did.
I don't think it hurt him all that much.
Been some good spice in this at times. He's gone over the top a couple of times. Aiden Johnson is in some trouble with the MRO. But there's a game to be won.
I think this is a player that Melbourne seriously need to consider locking away. He's already had an influence in the game, but certainly the start of this quarter, they want the ball in his hands.
Nearly knocked him out. Caminiti to a one-on-one. Charman
Good pickup.
engaged with Lever illegally. Charman normally likes to run and jump as opposed to wrestle his way to a ball. Bailey Laurie, game 12, back into the team this week. Come on to the sub, and Wilkie, the great Waller Wilkie.
He just controls that back area so well, Kel Wilkie.
Once in Kilda's best and fairest last season, Wilkie. In fact, when you look at their best and fairest last year, defenders were first, second and third. That's how much that man, Ross Lyon, likes a good defender. Jack Sinclair, Josh Battle filled the top 3. Ross Lyon, little opening here. He famously said a few weeks ago, real clubs don't sell home games. This is a away game for the Saints, a home game here in the Ellis that Melbourne like to play. Could well have been at the G. Slapped on by Charman. Goes and gets his own ball. The Charmanator heads toward goal and misses.
And you too, he had a good opportunity. Terrific one-on-one win out on the wing.
Chandler. Lindsay in to McVie. 2-on-2 and a great battle won by Caminiti. Turner's a good marking prospect, sent forward. Caminiti, a forward or defender, depending on what his coach wants. He's been turned defender this year. Up against Turner, who knows the craft from both ends as well. Wanganeen Miller, that's a sizzler down the spine. Steele gets it to Mayer. Higgins is out the back. Can he get there? You bet he can. So he hasn't had a big day, Jack Higgins, but he is the kind of guy who can have a big moment.
But it's been the defensive one-on-one wins from St Kilda that has allowed them to control the ball. And then you get the ball in the hands of Wanganeen Miller.
Takes a deep breath. It's going the drop punt this time. It's across the face and it drifts. And it skims into the post, off the post, and to ball in. So not such a bad result for the Saints. Simon Goodwin, 9th season as Melbourne coach. Premiership year 5. 14th last year, the year from hell. 11 wins, 12 losses. Their season will be in dire straits as they lose this one as well. Oliver got the kick away. Flyers go up. Petrarca, can he be the man? Ball spins through fists. Daniel Turner couldn't get there in time. Wilkie, right spot, right time as he's softening. As Caminiti, Wanganeen Miller, beautiful pass. Just floated like a marshmallow. And he gets it back. Out of bounds, almost to win. Owens didn't want to take it there.
Bet he does. Geez, Wilkie's been amazing for the Saints. He's just lurking across that half-back line, St Kilda, so Melbourne just keep on putting it in his area and he keeps winning it.
Already up to eight disposals this quarter, Wanganeen Miller.
Yep.
Not even halfway through.
They're coming off a 36 possession game against the Gold Coast last week, so no mystery as to who you're going to stop when you're trying to stop St Kilda.
Well, they kicked 4 goals, 3 from that position, St Kilda, from that half-back area.
Looks pretty calm, Ross Lyon. 12th last year, 11 wins, 7th the year before, and they made finals. Finals still on offer if they win this after having lost their last 3. Oliver wobbles one. Good grab, Caminiti this time.
Yeah, it's the second in a row from Caminiti. Big one-on-one win. And then Wilkie's that spare defender, so that just gives him a little bit more control in the back half.
Wilkie hits the target as well. They are spreading this Melbourne defence all the way to the other wing to Hill. Into some air. Good ride, the bump, Jack Carroll. Floats it to a good spot. Butler couldn't trap it. Bowie gets away with it.
Great kick.
McVee.
This is a good kick coming off that right-hand side. He needs to work on his left, but that's a dart off the right.
Rivers back to McVee. Tight ropes to boundary. They need someone to come at them rather than bomb it along to Wilkie, and they do. Melksham.
Just Melk's gone, making his way down to the forward 50.
So Melksham heads central. Options are plenty, and this is Xavier Lindsay's moment. He's yet to kick an AFL goal. He's had a couple of chances this afternoon. Had plenty of possessions. Just hasn't finished a couple of chances that he's had.
It's a great kick from Melksham, and Lindsay sits under it, and Mason Wood probably asks the question everyone else is asking. How the hell is he on his own?
He's kicked 4 behinds for his career. Xavier Lindsay blows his line there.
Well, they're kicking themselves out of it. I mean, it's pretty obvious. They're well and truly in front on expected score, but we don't pay, get 4 points on expected score.
7-16. Again, the Saints and Melbourne will both be 5 wins, 7 losses if the Saints win this game. Wanganeen Miller. Wide. Gawn got there. May pulls the kick late. Chance for the Leapers to go up. And the Crummers sharp. Got it. Weaves inside. Laurie, the sub. He muffs it. One change of selection. Spargo out, Laurie in. Jack Viney was initially selected, but didn't pass the concussion test, so couldn't take his place in the 23. And Simon Goodwin, a little edgy at the moment. Hill, Wanganeen Miller up, little drop step, and a sizzler down the middle. Boxlegs out. Langford to half forward. Tom Sparrow.
Well, it's a really weird last quarter. There's just no pressure whatsoever. We've had a little fumble there with a turnover. Melbourne have laid 1 tackle, St Kilda 4, so it's just really, it's circle work, and who turns the ball over?
Dan Butler, back closer.
Running out of time, Melbourne. Tom Sparrow. Is he the man for the moment? Set sail and has not quite got it there.
He's always going to be stretched for the distance, Tommy Sparrow. But you're right, it has been a weird 10 minutes of football.
Coming off a 53-point win over Sydney last week at the MCG, Melbourne. Dominant. and yet been outplayed from the outset today. Sharp, gone. 9 minutes left to change everything. Long inside 50, off hands Pickett. Hasn't quite been his day. Gave it off just in time, Petrarca. Sparrow. Petty, meat in the sandwich. Dragged down.
There's a couple of tackles to at least give the stoppage. Can Max impact here and set one of his boys free.
Big pack. Cavalier was clever. Sinclair gets it away, but it's coming back, maybe with interest. Lever. Rivers. Heads to the pocket, and it's not congested, but it's Wilkie. You pick it to where Wilkie ain't. That'll be the plan, wouldn't it?
Just got to be careful. St Kilda obviously got that extra up around the ball, but you can't keep bombing it back to the Melbourne defence.
So Pickett slapped the body and never paid it. Well, that's 50.
Yeah.
He put it on the deck.
Should have been, absolutely.
Wow. Yeah, the umpires miss some stuff, don't they? Did they miss that? Is that a push to May? Yes, Owens.
Well, I mean, I think if you're Melbourne and St Kilda will be shutting off the switch here, you certainly don't want to go back. You don't want to give up too much ground, but you need to try and work out how you get space onto the open side or even through the corridor.
There's Pickett just placing it on the ground. We've already seen one free kick paid from 50 this weekend. For that, you just can't do it. Chandler. Well, you can do it.
Yeah, I just mean St Kilda are defending so well down the line.
Lever. Got to go down the Staples now. And guess who? The great Paul Wilkie again.
The WFW, Dwayne, he's on fire.
It's just one of those phenomenons that you see most weeks and you can't believe other teams haven't seen it.
And he's against a really good one-on-one player in Jake Melksham. So he has really stood up.
Cavalier goes long. Dowie jumped under it a little. Flung out. Time ticking away for the D's. Butler's been the star of the show. He's got 4 goals in his return game, and he got a kick away whilst on his back. Not the required. Owens knew. Dance past a couple. Blast it long. Keeler! He started it all. He might finish it off.
He's just going to take his time here, no doubt. The leaders would have been going to him, trying to calm his nerves, compose himself a little bit. He just slipped in behind Max Gawn on that occasion. Looks to be going around the body.
Game 6. He's kicked 2-1. And Isaac goes whack. It's going to be tough now for the D's.
Well, they found a really good player there who's just coming through the development stages, but he is having his best afternoon. But at the other end of the ground, we've got an All-Australian in Wilkie who's had 5 intercept marks and 10 intercept possessions in potentially a match-winning performance for the Saints. It's looking like it right now. But just the lack of pressure is amazing at the present time.
$25 points the margin. They've kicked 7-18, Melbourne. Footy keeps throwing up. A lot of unpredictable, bizarre stuff. The Saints coming off 3 losses in a row to Carlton, to the West Coast and to the Gold Coast, and here they are playing the kind of footy that gives their fans hope that maybe they can get a run back toward the 8. Hill, Jones, 6 minutes to steal this one from the fire, Melbourne. Simon Goodwin, has he got some levers to pull?
Well, he wants the accuracy lever. They've kicked 1-9 in the second half. 1-9. It's just throwing away the game.
Petty went down hard. Burns, Wood, been great in defence again. Butler, we left it behind the Butler. Sharp picks it up. This is a huge moment, and McVee can't nail it. 7-19.
It's at 110. 110 for the second half. So that's certainly not good enough for Melbourne. But I think the other thing when the final siren goes that Ross Lyon would be pleased about is defensive transition. So D50 to inside 50, but even back half, Melbourne have scored 9 goals, 7.
I need 4 goals in 5 minutes just to tie it, Melbourne.
They need a miracle.
They do. They need a hero. They need Keziah Pickett or Christian Petrarca. They've got some superstars, but they haven't fired.
Just can't get the ball back because there's no pressure. Unless there's a skill error, ball's not coming back. This is the 3rd best effort from St Kilda. Scores from their defensive 50 over the last 5 years. So when this is one out of the box, and Wilkie has been a significant part of that.
And no one's on Wanganeen Malira. No one within QE of the major possession winner on the deck. Jones gets it now. It's death by 1,000 cuts for Melbourne fans if they just maintain possession. Wanganeen Malira goes and gets. Jones calling for the easy chip back, waste some time kick. And they give it to him. Hill. And he's got the free back if he wants to go back.
Probably will.
Yep, there you go. If you're not going to man up, we're going to make you pay. We'll take another 20 seconds off the clock. Go back to Hill. This is fun.
Yep. When the whistle gets blown, then you go long down the line to congestion. So they've controlled this part of the game really well in the 4th term, St Kilda.
Keeler was clever, tried to thumb that to the line. They take out of play here. The Saints doesn't go out. The Oliver twist. The straight back to the spare Hill.
This, I reckon, would be Melbourne's lowest pressure game for a long, long time. Right now, they're running at 132. I mean, we're used to numbers around the 180, 190, 200. I saw 230 last night. I mean, this is bizarre.
Picking their way through him again. Wanganeen Malira heads to the pocket. Higgins.
And if you're going to play circle work and leave Wanganeen Malira on his own, it's going to cut you to death.
Yeah, 12 or 13
to pieces
for the quarter, Jared.
See if he hits this one correctly. You bet he does. Come up the moment. Come up Jack Higgins.
He's had 14 for the quarter, Wanganeen Malira.
Yep.
So he's been the architect behind the ball, nearly 400 metres gained for the quarter. So he just wants the ball in his hands when the moment gets really hot. This has been a little bit of a pattern as well. As soon as the St Kilda side have got access to the corridor or the open side, their forwards have been able to get out the back of the Melbourne defenders. So you can see here just a continuation of the run. Bang, that handball there. If he's not there, if he doesn't present himself, Wanganeen Malira, that mark to Higgins becomes really tough. Jake Bowie just didn't have time to recover.
It's a brilliant kick, great transition. It's won them the game, along with inaccuracy from Melbourne, but it's St Kilda transition that has been absolutely superb. And I know we're not going to give the result up just yet, Wayne. You never know, there might be a miracle, but it's going to take that. But there's nothing better than winning before the bye.
Plants his foot into it, goes long. If it gets over the back, it's a chance. Didn't get over the back. Burns onto it. Travalia, Tootsie's been good. Heads wide. Hall's been great. Takes it out.
It is always nice going in to the bye with a great victory on the road. You see their next games when they come back, Geelong and Collingwood, so 2 really big teams to come. Bulldogs and Collingwood to come back after the break.
Yeah, so both teams have Collingwood on their horizon. Melbourne next week. They want to get the pressure up against the Magpies. They're the hottest team in the comp. Top of the pops right now, Collingwood. That's who Melbourne has next.
This is the worst pressure game, so worst pressure quarter under Goodwin.
Salem adds another behind to the tally. 7 goals, 20.
And I think to add to that, Jared, it's their 8th worst pressure game under Goodwin.
Yeah, well, that's a surprise.
So it's
it's looked that way the whole time, and it's certainly played into the hands of St Kilda, but ultimately, despite a low-pressure game, you can see the pressure factor there in the last half of Melbourne. You don't see those recordings too often. But their inaccuracy has just killed any chance they had. And St Kilda's capacity to kick the ball from one end of the ground to the other without giving it back has been a highlight for them.
Hunter Clark just saunters his way down the wing. Steele. Hall went in low enough. Bowie. Langdon. Big spoiler Burns. Got it to the boundary, and Hunter Clark happy. 139 away from every St Kilda fan watching this in their lounge room at home, getting the belief back, heading into the bye. Next 2 games at Marvel, that Collingwood game at Marvel as well. Not gone yet, the Saints. 2025.
What's your assessment of this one for the Cats tomorrow night?
This game in particular? I mean, I think St Kilda should get credit for the way the game has been played. I think got 5 goals from D50, the way that they've remained patient in the back half, I think has been a real highlight. Certainly the pressure and then the lack of it from Melbourne has been an issue, and the inaccuracies.
Windsor decided to take it on himself. Got a little nudge on it, and it's touched through. Make that 7 goals, 21.
No, but I think it's been a really impressive performance from St Kilda, so you can't sell them short.
Given they were 1 man down after 3 minutes in Philippine, makes it even more meritorious.
Off hands. Andy Miller takes it out. But when you know, you know, and Melbourne's players now know. And Ross Lyon knows. Been a win in the coach's box. Brendan Bolton. And a couple of superstars I mentioned, Robert Harvey, Corey Enright. This has been a season changer maybe for the Saints. Petrarca. And what has it done for Melbourne's season now? Hunter Clark says, let's calm it down, boys. No need to add a 15th goal. We're happy with what we've got in the bank. Out wide. Good. Messing with them right now, the Saints.
They only had 400 disposals, the Saints.
Thumps it long and wide, and Higgins kept it alive. Good attack from Steele.
Well, he's put in a massive performance, has Callum Wilkie. 30-plus disposals. 15 marks. 10-plus intercept possessions. He joins royalty as far as defenders are concerned. Sam Gilbert and Sam Fisher, the only 3 St Kilda players ever to do it. So I think you probably get the coaches' votes.
A season resurrecting win it'll be for the Saints. It's been malice in the Alice for Melbourne. Points the final margin. 7:21.63 to 14:7.91. Saints season alive again.
Well, they all look worn out, Dwayne. So not too many celebrating. We saw at Bradley Hill before. It would have been a tough day in Alice Springs with the heat. They come home with the victory, the St Kilda Football Club, and they should be really pleased with their performance. 140 marks, so they just 140 to St Kilda, 100 to Melbourne, so it was a game about control, but St Kilda picked their times when they could go. A lot of their goals were over the back, so that the working further up the field allowed them to get deeper entries, allowed their forwards to go to work and get a really good result. So Butler finishes with 4. Keeler started the game on fire with 3. Hall with 2. So there's been some really good contributors in that sense. Their accuracy you can obviously see was a really big feature. So they nearly scored 100 points, but it was their work out of the D50 and back half that would please the St Kilda football side. As we head down to Ben Dixon.
Few weeks, but right from the get-go, the way you started this game was some pretty good execution.
Yeah, for the last couple of weeks, I've spoken about getting desperate if we need to get desperate, and we had a big focus on coming out in the first quarter and throwing the first punch.
Defensive transition, we spoke to Ross before the game. He said that was an important part. The first half, it was on point.
Yeah, absolutely, and like I just said, we wanted to come out and got all strings of our game humming, so yeah, and a big one for us is defensive transition. We value it so much, and when we have a collective group do it, it goes a long way.
Sometimes the toughest task is the opposition. Cozzy Pickett, you got the job today. Bit of fireworks early with you two.
Yeah, he's tough to play against. He's a quick little zippy thing, and when he's forward to centre and he's humming, it's pretty scary. But yeah, I've got so many teammates that rolled back and helped me. But it was a tough task, and that's just what I want to build with the group as a collective. Just everyone getting their role done, and I think that's what we did today.
We always focus on the forwards. It's easy to do, but Callum Wilkie down there, he was like just a brick wall today, wasn't he?
That's right. He's a brick wall. He's the centrepiece of our back six, and he's so strong down there. Oftentimes you have to rely on him heaps, and he just steps up every time.
What about Alice Springs? 20 degrees, beautiful conditions, nice play footy out here.
Yeah, this is some of the best conditions I've played in a while, I guess. Not too hot, perfect sun, no wind. Beautiful spectacle as well.
Let's get to the real stuff. Do you follow the bounce?
Yeah, I watch it every now and then. Your segments are quite good, but Gazy segments, they're a bit of an earful, hard to listen to sometimes.
We know the beauty about this, not only have you had a win, but we're going to throw to the bounce. Our spiritual leader.
Over to you, Chief.
All right, folks, here we go. The Saints go marching in. Of course, 14-7-91. Melbourne 7-21-63. They just couldn't kick straight, Melbourne. So I was saying after half-time, Melbourne kicked 1 goal 12. 1 goal 12 after half-time, Melbourne. 5 goals 3 after half-time, the Saints. 3 goals 1 they put on in the final term, the Saints. And, of course, yeah, that final term, 8 behinds. 8 behinds put on Melbourne. There we go. I tell you what, it was a tight poll we had today. 52% went for Melbourne. We nearly got it right there. But, yeah, look, this is a game where Melbourne, I don't know what they were doing out there. There was just, as I was saying, the lack of pressure. No pressure from Melbourne, apart from kicking ordinary, inaccuracy. Look, it might have cost them the match, but that being said, St Kilda were the ones who were in control of this game today. They certainly always looked a better team out there, and I think it was a very good performance by St Kilda today. You've got to be very happy if you're a Saints fan. I'm sure the coaches will be very happy with the way St Kilda played today, and of course their transition from defensive 50 down to their forwards, snaring some goals from that way was fantastic. It was a good effort from St Kilda, of course. St Kilda now go into... Let me just load this up. Let me see if the ladder is loaded. No, the ladder's not loaded. That'll take a couple of minutes. All right, let's go and have a look at the goal scorers. How they fared for this day. Of course, there won't be too many for Melbourne, but top the table. Dan Butler for St Kilda with 4. Isaac Keeler with 3. Maxie Hall with 2. Travalier with 1. Owens, Bradley Hill, Higgins, Hunter Clark also singles for the Saints. For Melbourne, Petrarca, the only multiple there with 2. Harrison Pretty with 1. Melsham, Johnson, Fritsch, and Chandler with 1. The ball magnets, only 1 in the 30s today. Of course, Callum Wilkie, there we go, 31 touches, 22 kicks, 9 handballs, 15 marks, 2 tackles of clearance. Fantastic effort. And tell you what, this Wanganeen Miller, he's a star there for the Saints. 29 touches, 27 kicks. Doesn't like the handballs too much. 27 kicks, 2 handballs. He had a couple of clearances as well. Winhager, 28. Hill, 26. Sinclair, 25. Jack Steele, 23. Top half dozen all for the Saints. For Melbourne, Petrarca, Max Gorn, as always, the best 2 for the D's on 22. There we go. 30 hit out, 6 clearances for Max Gorn. Always tries, as I say, he always tries. Stephen May, next best on 21. The backman there, tell you what, they were definitely the 3 best players by a long way out on the ground there for Melbourne. These 3 always put in. It's just the rest of the team. I tell you what, I think it'll be a quiet plane ride home. And so, of course, Stephen Goodwin, the coach of Melbourne, will certainly review this game pretty hard, especially around the pressure. It's not so much that they missed a lot, scored inaccurate. It's just the pressure of the team today was just non-existent. There we go. Let's just keep on rolling down the stats. Toby Travalia, 13. Ed Langdon, 13. Didn't get much there for Melbourne today. Dan Butler, as I said, not too bad. 4 goals for the Saints, 12 disposals, 9 kicks, 3 handballs, so he did pretty well there. There we go. Jack Higgins bobbed up with a goal there with 10 disposals, 1 goal, 5 kicks. There we go. All right, let's have a look at the team stats. Well, Melbourne by 81. St Kilda, I should say. St Kilda by 81. Just dominated Melbourne pretty much the entire game. Melbourne did have some little bits of run, little sparks there, but St Kilda were able to absorb that and just take control back of the game. The kicks, 62 plus, 29 plus handballs, inside 50s. Have a look at the inside 50s. 57 for Melbourne for 28 scoring shots, but only 7 goals. Wow, 40 inside scoring shots for St Kilda for 21 scoring shots. Melbourne had plenty of chances, make no mistake about that. They were plus 17 in the inside 50s. Wow, free kicks, 24-22. Look, it was okay, the umpiring today. Don't want to complain too much about the umps today. I think it was okay, reasonable. Equal for both sides. Their hitouts, the Melbourne ruckman. Maxi Gawn, 32-25 plus 7, plus 2 in the clearances for Melbourne, got on top there. Saints, win the centre clearances by 2. There we go. Possessions, contested, pretty simple there. 118, 116, just a couple difference. Uncontested, well, St Kilda, they just in control of the ball. They had the ball in their hand. What's that? That's about 73 plus while we uncontested. Turnovers, wasn't too bad. Under season average for both teams. As you say, with the uncontested possessions, St Kilda going to have the marks 140 to 100 plus 40. Of course, their season average is only 91, so they did well in that aspect. And of course, both teams getting plenty of opportunity. Marks inside 50, 14 to 10. Melbourne actually won there. Let's have a look at the tackle count. 56, 52. Both teams under a little bit. And 8 inside 50 tackles to both sides. But yeah, look, it was a pretty disappointing game from Melbourne. If you're a Melbourne supporter, you just want them to put pressure on, and it just didn't happen. There is the live ladder now. There is a live ladder. So if we have a look here, St Kilda after round 12. They go above Melbourne, sitting on 20 points. 1-5, lost 7, 93.1 for 5.5% difference over Melbourne. Still sitting on 20 points, but of course, both teams still mathematically possible. 2 games plus big percentage out of the top 8, which is going to be hard, but you just never know. In the second half of the season, they might be able to get that roll on. Next week's games for both of these teams, of course, St Kilda go in with a bye next week. St Kilda have the bye, a well-earned rest there. And, of course, Melbourne is going to come up against a tough one. If they play like they did today, I think Melbourne will probably get beaten by about 100 points. They come up against the might of Collingwood, top of the table. Collingwood sitting up there at the moment. They play there on King's birthday, Monday, June 9. That's when that next game will be for Melbourne, a little over a week's time. So they've got a lot of things to contend with and review. Look, I'm sure Melbourne will come out a little bit stronger and better next time around, especially playing in front of the big stage back there at the MCG. In probably what is going to be 90,000 crowd. Should be an absolute fantastic game. But I tell you what, Melbourne wants to lift their game if they want to get even close or contest that game next week against Collingwood. Of course, Collingwood, the great pressure side they are, Melbourne need to lift as well. All right, there we go. Hey, we got one more game coming up for everyone, and that's coming up in a little over an hour's time. West Coast Eagles taking on the Geelong Cats over there at Optus Stadium in Perth. that should be a fantastic game to tune on in. Tell you what, it'd be nice. I think we'll be cheering for the West Coast Eagles. It'd be great to see the West Coast have a victory. It's going to be hard. Of course, it's going to be hard against Geelong. Geelong are up and firing, but it's good to go for the underdogs. All right, folks, thanks everyone for popping on in on this one. I'll tell you what, the Saints 14-7, 91, Melbourne 7-21, 63. Look at that score difference. St Kilda had the same amount of scoring shots as the Melbourne's behinds. 21 behinds, 21 scoring shots for St Kilda. Yet the margin was 28 points in favour of St Kilda after today's game. There we go. Wow. That's all you can say. Sorry to say for Eddie G. See you later to the multi. Of course, we were cheering on Melbourne for your multi. Knowing you're like Eddie G, West Coast will probably get up and win the next game. That's the way it rolls sometimes. You just never know. Constantina, how you going? Naja, Toaster's in there. Ella Rose, eh? And, of course, a big thanks to Ryan, Avery Rogue One for the super chat. Thanks, young man. Appreciate that always. All right, folks. Hey, that's me. I am over now. We'll see you in the next game in a little bit over 1 hour's time, where we head over to Optus Stadium there in Perth with the West Coast Eagles. We'll take on the Geelong Cats. It should be a great game. Looking forward to that one and bringing that to you as well. All right, folks. Until that game, ciao for now. We'll see you in the next game.